end in .gov. But if you're unsure, you can always call your city and ask. Cameron Elliott, KSL News Radio.
A Lehigh man has been arrested after police say he purposefully rammed a car with a woman and her children. Police documents say Joshua Tatufu actually got out of the car to approach her on Timpanogos Highway. The woman drove off to a nearby Smith's parking lot where Tatufu followed her. After a short chase through the lot, police say Tatufu rammed the driver's side of the woman's car, and with her 4 children inside, he was booked on 5 counts of aggravated assault and a handful of driving-related offenses. A person originally convicted for the murder of Utah County Sheriff's Deputy Corey Ride is set to be released today after over a decade in prison. Megan Dakota Grunwald was behind the wheel of a car that was pulled over by Sergeant Ride shortly before he was shot and killed by their boyfriend. Nanette Ride Zeman is the widow of Sergeant Ride and previously told KSL she's one of Grunwald's biggest supporters.
I was going to be her biggest cheerleader. I want her to find her happy like I found mine. And I mean, she's been in there since she was 17 years old, and she deserves a chance to be able to find her happy and most of all, learn to fall in love with herself.
Grunwald was originally convicted of murder, but the charges were modified to manslaughter in 2021. Almost 4 pounds of cocaine were cleverly hidden inside of a spare tire in southern Utah. Utah Highway Patrol stopped the car for a license plate violation. It was then that the driver started acting suspicious. A drug dog actually found the cocaine, which has a street value of more than $360,000. That driver was arrested. KSL's top national stories. Peace talks between the U.S. and Iran have stalled, and the standoff in and around the Strait of Hormuz continues. More from ABC's Tom Sufi-Burridge, who says the U.S. blockade may be affecting Iran's oil economy.
There's some new analysis from Kepler, it's an analytics company, and it's also suggesting that Iran's storage capacity for its crude, which comes out of Karg Island, remember that is west of the Strait of Hormuz, so it can't be exported west. If you look at the map, it has to go east, out through the Arabian Sea and past the US military blockade. Well, they're saying that basically Iran has between 12 and 22 days until it would completely run out of storage. And you can't just switch off oil wells. It's very complicated and potentially very costly to do.
Iran says it is threatening maritime traffic from traveling in and around the strait, but the U.S. is also blocking any ship from trying to use Iranian ports. The United Arab Emirates says it will leave OPEC and its wider OPEC Plus group effective May 1st. Leaders in the Emiratis have been upset with current OPEC production restrictions and has cold relations with Saudi Arabia. The UAE has been an OPEC member for decades. This, along with the Iran war, is driving crude oil to record high prices. Right now, gas is the most expensive it's been since the start of the war. And we have breaking news. The Justice Department has indicted former FBI Director James Comey again. It's the administration's second time trying to prosecute Comey over a photo he posted last May. The Trump administration claims it's threatening the president and encouraging someone to assassinate him. Other national stories KSL is following this hour. The Justice Department says the attack on the White House Correspondents' Dinner is proof that they need the ballroom at the White House. It was laid out in a new court filing.
An overnight filing written in the syntax and tone of the president's own social media posts accuses the plaintiffs in the ballroom lawsuit of suffering from Trump derangement syndrome and being, quote, very bad for our country. Government lawyers now insist the president needs the ballroom for his safety. But in pointing out the inherent risks of large-scale events in D.C., the filing also raises questions about whether the Secret Service can keep the president safe at any event outside of the White House.
ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy reporting. First look traffic, here's Ricky Meese.
No delays on the freeways, but a small crash northbound I-15 at 6 North, out of traffic on the left. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL News Time, 12:06.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com. Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
A family office is a team built to handle the three biggest financial responsibilities a family faces: wealth management, tax strategy, and estate planning. Most firms only manage your investments and refer the rest out, hoping everyone stays aligned. At Trajan, we built something different. Your wealth, tax planning, and estate planning are handled together inside one firm, under one roof. There's no guessing whether your CPA, advisor, and estate attorney are truly in sync, because our team works together every day on your behalf. When your financial life becomes more complex, your advice should become more coordinated, not more fragmented. One plan, one trusted team. Call Trajan today, 855-TRAJAN-1. That's 855-TRAJAN-1.
Trajan Wealth, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Additional services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures and accreditation at TrajanWealth.com.
A man is accused of falsifying signatures for the petition to repeal Prop 4. He's now facing felony charges. KSL News Time, 12:08. A program that uses AI to fill prescription renewals is continuing, despite calls for it to end from Utah's Medical Licensing Board. KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis reports.
The pilot program is with AI company Doctrinic. It will fill medication renewals on 30, 60, and 90-day intervals. KSL reports the program is now in its first phase, where a licensed physician reviews each decision. Utah's Medical Licensing Board wrote a letter earlier this month saying the program should be stopped while they review it, saying they have a responsibility to protect the public and each prescription should be individually looked at for patient safety.
Those over the program say it will continue, but it can be modified or canceled based on their report outcomes. Utah health officials are recommending early MMR vaccines for babies. KSL News Radio's Tammy Kikuchi reports.
It's called an early extra dose of measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine, and it needs to be given to babies between 6 and 12 months old. Dr. Richard Ferguson with the Black Physicians of Utah says measles linger.
Measles can stay in an enclosed room for up to 2 hours.
Clarissa Nielsen, an epidemiologist with the State Department of Health, agrees.
That can be daycares, anywhere indoors.
Both say this is in addition to the regimen of 2 shots, 1 year and before school. Since the start of the outbreak in 2025, there have been more than 600 cases of the virus reported. Almost 400 of those cases were in children younger than 18. Tammy Kikuchi, KSL News Radio.
We talk 28% less than we did in the early 2000s now that we can do everything online, from grocery shopping to getting a college degree. Licensed clinical social worker Matt Checkitz says this isn't good for our mental health.
Mental health requires that a person encounters a situation and then navigates it to continue to maintain mental health.
Checkitz says not interacting with others can stunt our capacity for tolerance, resilience, and problem solving. Back in 2005, we spoke almost 17,000 words a day on average. In 2019, that dropped to about 12,000 words. KSL News Time, 12:10. Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s. Brought to you by UCCU. Earn 4.24% on savings at uccu.com. Here's Ricky Meese.
What a difference a day makes with Mother Nature, dry roads, sunshine, and a whole lot less problems on your Valley freeways. In fact, we have a delay-free drive in progress. That does include north and southbound I-15 between Willard Bay past Utah Lake. One small accident. It's on the northbound side of I-15 at 6 North, but completely out of traffic to the left. It's not causing a problem. Our main secondary's also seeing a quiet drive. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Much warmer today with partly cloudy skies. Look for a high of 60 degrees and maybe a little shower popping up at higher elevations. Overnight dropping off to 40. Some of us could hit upper 30s tonight. Partly cloudy tomorrow, 65. We'll go partly cloudy again in the valleys on Thursday, 67. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now, it's 51 degrees in Tooele and 52 degrees in Salt Lake City. Coming up on Midday with Maria Shilaos, we'll talk to KSL's legal analyst about the forgery charges in eastern Utah. That's coming up, streaming live at kslnewsradio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
It's spring. You get outside and it's obvious your house needs painting. Make an appointment with CertaPro Painters. They'll give you a free estimate quickly and at the right price. And they make the entire process easy with reliable updates and communication. They know how important your home is to you. True professionals, they're committed to quality and exceptional service at the right price. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated, so schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
Is the volatility of the stock market driving you crazy? Is your retirement account sinking, yet you're getting older and you're starting to worry about, will I have enough for retirement? What about the money in the bank? These banks pay nothing these days. How do we get growth to get to retirement account? It's simple. Move into gold and silver. Want to know how to do it? Listen to my show, Striking Gold, with me, Kenny Michaels.
Now on Saturday at 5 p.m.
Hey, it's Brian with Olson's Greenhouse. In today's busy world, your home should be your sanctuary. A peaceful retreat where you can unwind, breathe deeply, and recharge. And what better way to create that haven than with flowers? A pop of color in your flower beds, a cheerful container garden by the front door, or a lush patio filled with vibrant blooms can transform any space into a personal oasis. Flowers don't just brighten up your home, they lift your spirits too. Research even shows that surrounding yourself with plants can reduce stress and boost happiness. At Olson's Greenhouse, we grow premium quality plants that make it easy to bring beauty and joy into your life. Whether you prefer bold, eye-catching colors or soft, soothing pastels, we have the perfect flowers to complement your space. And with locally grown plants, you know they're ready to thrive. This spring, create a sanctuary of color and comfort with flowers from Olson's Greenhouse. Find us on Instagram at Olson's Greenhouse Gardens or go to ogg.com to find a retailer near you. That's ogg.com for Olson's Greenhouse Gardens.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
KSL News Time, 12:14. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
a Uintah County signature gatherer is facing felony charges after investigators say dozens of petition signatures were forged. I'm KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera.
Second, state health officials are suggesting babies between 6 months and a year of age should be getting an early extra MMR vaccine. Third, traffic and weather together.
We do have a crash now in Box Elder County. It's going to block the intersection. This is going to be east of Willard Bay. Now, if you're in the Box Elder County area, just look for this crash at Highway 89 going westbound at Willard. You're going to see that the road will be blocked at this time. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Quiet skies today and a warming trend in the works. I'm Matt Johnson.
It's 52 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Now KSL's top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. A royal welcome for King Charles and Queen Camilla at the White House today. The official state visit comes as relations are strained between the UK and US over the war with Iran.
President Trump today touted the special relationship between the US and the United Kingdom as he welcomed King Charles and Queen Camilla to the White House during a ceremony on the South Lawn full of pomp and circumstance.
We speak the same language. We hold the same values. And together our warriors have defended the same extraordinary civilization under twin banners of red, white, and blue.
The president noted, as he often does, his Scottish heritage on his mother's side and his mother's fondness for the royal family, especially King Charles' mother, Queen Elizabeth II. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
King Charles will address both chambers of Congress this afternoon. Outside the Capitol, survivors of the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein are also there. ABC's Jay O'Brien speaking to Sky Roberts, the brother of one of Epstein's and Ghislaine Maxwell's victims, Virginia Giuffre, who accused former Prince Andrew of abusing her decades ago. He says he wants recognition for his sister and all survivors.
I think we want the acknowledgement for survivors, something that we haven't heard from our own president himself. President Trump continues to call it a hoax.
King Charles stripped Andrew of his titles. The U.S. says it's rejected an Iranian proposal to charge a toll at the Strait of Hormuz. The UAE, meantime, announcing it's pulling out of OPEC, signaling relations between the UAE and Saudi Arabia have worsened. ABC's Elizabeth Schulze says it's driving up oil prices even more.
This is sending oil prices notably higher. We now have oil above $100 a barrel. And when you think about the impact of that on consumers and businesses, gas prices have been going up now at the fastest pace in the last 24 hours, in one of the fastest pace on record. This is the biggest 24-hour increase, sixth biggest in history.
You're listening to ABC News.
Time for the KSL In-Depth. 11 felony charges have been filed against a man accused of forging signatures. Those signatures went toward the effort to repeal Prop 4. KSL legal analyst Greg Skordas joins me now live in studio. And Greg, 165 of the 300 signatures gathered were reportedly forged. Do these charges seem appropriate for the situation?
Yeah, I mean, what happened was this, Heather, as you indicated correctly, when during that period of time, they had people out in the field gathering signatures to try to get the redistricting issue back on the ballot. And it was important to get a certain number of signatures. So they were paying people a fee for every signature they could get. So this person, Chad Klutz, gathered some 305 signatures. They believe that as many as 165 of those were actually forged. Some of the people were dead. I mean, they weren't even there to sign them. So what they're thinking is that he just forged them to make the money, thinking he wouldn't get caught. And I know you might be thinking, well, if he did it 165 times, why is he only charged with 11? Part of the reason is because at some point it's overkill. I mean, you have 11 felonies that each carry 5 years. It doesn't do any good to file 165.
Mm-hmm. And was there any indication that he was directed to do this, or does it seem like he would just chose to do this all on his own?
It looks like it was just all on his own, and I think there was pressure. And I know that it was a problem they had because a lot of these signatures were gathered. There was a lot of concern about the way they were gathered, and some people were a little bit pushy and maybe even a little bit misleading to get those because the way they were doing it was paying per signature. So it encouraged people to do things to push the envelope. Of course, this guy tore through the envelope, but if you look at the fact that he actually allegedly forged 165 of them. But no, it doesn't appear to be anything other than just one person who probably got lazy, and of course he's presumed innocent, but just did what he could to make his money and get out of town.
Okay, and real briefly, what kind of punishment could we be looking at for this?
Each one of these times 11 carries up to 5 years in prison. He's also charged with 11 misdemeanors that carry up to a year in jail. He's certainly not going to go to prison for 55 years, but it wouldn't be surprising if he did some significant jail term, and it's all out in the Uinta Basin, so yeah, he could probably do some jail out there in Vernal.
Okay, KSL legal analyst Greg Skordas joining me now live in studio. Thanks so much, Greg.
You bet.
KSL News Time 12:20. Traffic and weather together on the 9s. Brought to you by UCCU. Build smart, save big with construction loans at UCCU. Here's Ricky Meese.
Right now, I'm looking at a live shot of Box Elder County where we have a crash that has closed a large portion of the intersection at Highway 89 Main Street and 750 North in Willard. Now, officers are trying to get you through the area where there are lanes available. So watch for traffic control in place and follow their lead. Now, Valley Freeway traffic delay free, but we do have a small accident northbound I-15 in Salt Lake City. It's right about 6 north out of traffic on the left. The Good Feet store, supporting you with comfort no matter what the day brings. Find the location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast. Quiet today. Partly cloudy skies and a high of 60. 65 tomorrow. That's right on the dot for the normal. I've got partly cloudy skies. Mixture of sunshine and clouds there on Thursday, 67. Pop-up showers possible in the mountains. You got a 70 and mostly sunny skies Friday, and the weekend looks great. Saturday, 76. Sunday, 79. Clouds increase on Monday with a high of 76. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now, it's 52 degrees in Ogden and 52 also in Salt Lake City. The 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
Right now, UCCU is offering short-term savings options with incredibly high yields. Simply make a deposit, then watch your savings grow with a fixed rate of return that's much higher than a savings account. UCCU also has great offers on jump-up options. So if rates continue to rise, you can jump up your rate and earn even more. Visit uccu.com to learn more and supercharge your savings today. UCCU. Love where you bank.
I'm Walker Kessler, and I play basketball for a living. So I know how important it is to have the support of a team you can trust. That's why I love UCCU. UCCU is more than a credit union. They're a true financial partner, a local team of experts your entire family can trust at every step of your financial journey. Just visit uccu.com and elevate your banking experience.
Every day here in Utah, people turn to KSL News Radio for one simple reason: trust. Trust for our reporters, hosts, our coverage, and trust in the businesses heard right here. I've met so many of our listeners over the years, and they'll tell you KSL is part of their daily routine, in the car, at work, at home. And when they hear your business here, it carries the weight of that trust. It isn't just another ad. It's a recommendation coming from a reliable source. When you advertise on KSL News Radio, you reach a loyal, highly engaged audience who listens intentionally. They show up for breaking news, accurate information, and meaningful conversations. And because of that connection, they respond. And when you pair our on-air credibility with digital tools like display advertising, social media, streaming audio, search, geo-targeting, and retargeting, you get a full funnel strategy that works and reaches the right people at the right time. Get marketing that truly moves the needle. Partner with the voice Utah trusts. KSL. Learn more at kslnewsradio.com/advertise.
Ready for your next vehicle? At Performance Automotive in Bountiful, your new Ford, Toyota, or Honda is here. Built for Utah communities, canyon weekends, and everything in between. Choose capability with Ford, long-lasting reliability with Toyota, or smooth efficiency with Honda. Backed by friendly experts and financing options that fit your budget. Visit Performance Ford, Performance Toyota, and Performance Honda for your test drive. Browse inventory, check pricing, and schedule your visit at performancebountiful.com. Performance Automotive in Bountiful, driven to be the best.
Right now, water heaters are on sale at Any Hour Services. Schedule a free estimate today to see how much you'll save. Google Any Hour Services or schedule online at anyhourservices.com.
Here's Clark, a good look from three. She got it! The first.
Caitlin Clark is doing more than playing basketball. She's releasing a children's book. It's based on her life and is called Extraordinary, a little extra to reach big dreams. It shares a message about the importance of effort and support. Clark says she was inspired by a quote from her childhood mirror that read, "The difference between ordinary and extraordinary is a little extra." It'll be published in November. Watching Utah's money. Canada's Prime Minister says the country is developing a government-owned investment fund. It's starting with $18 million. It'll deal with industrial projects in areas like energy, infrastructure, mining, agriculture, and technology. The federal government and private investors will put money into it. Fortnite is offering refunds to players who purchased items related to David, the singer arrested and charged with murder after the body of a 14-year-old girl was found in the trunk of his car. The game sold 4 different items related to him. Those players are encouraged to reach out to player support for the refund. Adidas shares skyrocketed after the London Marathon. It's because the winner was wearing the brand's newest running shoe. It's a comeback for the brand. Its shares continued to fall. CNN reporting they're down 18% this year. The lucky shoes cost $500 a pair. Euromoney at this moment, the Dow is down 27 points. The NASDAQ is down 226 and the S&P is down 36 points. Taylor Swift is taking precautions in the fast-growing world of AI. She's filling 3 new trademark applications, 2 of them involving her voice. Here's ABC's Hannah Battah with more.
Swift's likeness has already been used without permission for numerous AI fakes, including on Meta's AI chatbot. Pornographic AI images of Swift circulated on X back in 2024. The platform removing them after public outcry. Later that year, then candidate Donald Trump shared AI-generated images of Swift inaccurately suggesting she had endorsed him.
The move will make it easier for her lawyers to take down AI copycats.
Learn why so many homebuyers trust Cyprus Credit Union's mortgage team to help them find their new home. With countless 5-star reviews, our local housing experts are dedicated to getting you into the home of your dreams with the lowest fees and the quickest keys. Enjoy a smooth home buying process. Visit cypruscu.com to get started.
Cyprus Credit Union, your future is our future.
Equal housing lender.
Join the Greenhouse Show May 2nd at Super Trees in Riverton. Utah's coolest plants, pottery, gifts, and classes and weekly arrivals. Plus, for limited time, receive 10% off. Supertrees.com.
The energy, the roar, moments you'll always remember. Next season, Jaren Jackson Jr. is hunting blocks. Laurie Markkinen is getting buckets. And Ace is just getting started. Don't just watch Jazz basketball. Experience every moment. 2026-27 season tickets are on sale now. Full and half-season packages available. Plus exclusive benefits like arena discounts and player events. Are you in? Join the climb today. UtahJazz.com or call 801-355-DUNK.
Hi, this is Derek Overstreet, president of the New Millennium Group and co-host of Stop Working, Start Living with KSL News Radio. Can you imagine what your life would be like if you could retire 3 to 5 years earlier than you thought possible? The things you could do, the loved ones you could spend time with, the memories that you could create. That's what our team at the New Millennium Group does. We'll walk you through the entire process every step of the way. If you'd like to get a copy of the 5-step proprietary plan that will help you retire 3 to 5 years sooner than you thought possible, give us a shout right now. 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370 or utahsfinancialplanner.com. Listen, most of our listeners right now have a tax problem, not a money problem. There's not enough money in Social Security Medicare as it is. Let us show you how you can significantly reduce your taxes. That's 888-999-6370, 888-999-6370 or utahsfinancialplanner.com.
KSL News Time, 1228. Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s. Brought to you by UCCU. Build smart, save big. UCCU, love where you bank. Here's Ricky Meese.
If you're traveling northbound on I-15, the crash that we had at 6 North has cleared. However, another one is in its place. It's northbound I-15, this time over to the right out of traffic. A little bit before the 6 North exits. So it did cause a little bit of backup, and that's starting to ease. Otherwise, Valley freeways look really good. We do have this crash in Box Elder County, and it has closed a portion of the road, Highway 89 Main Street at 750 North in Willard. Common Spirit hospitals, clinics, and caregivers, all connected to advanced health care in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Health care with human kindness is here. Hello, human kindness. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Calling for partly cloudy skies today and a high of 60 degrees, maybe a little pop-up shower in the mountaintops. 65 tomorrow, partly cloudy, repeat performance with pop-up showers in the higher elevations. We'll do it a third day in the row Thursday, 67. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
You're listening to Midday with Maria Shilaos
on KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Good afternoon. I'm Heather Peterson in for Maria Shilaos. KSL News Time, 1230. KSL's top story this hour, Utah water officials are trying out a new technology that'll hopefully reduce the number of harmful algal blooms that form on some of our lakes this summer. KSL News Radio's Adam Small has more from Willard Bay Reservoir.
One of the biggest reasons Willard Peak Pond, right here next to the main reservoir, has struggled with harmful algal blooms in the past is because of how much phosphorus its sediment produces. That phosphorus is a key ingredient algae needs to live. Well, now the state is partnering with a group of scientists to attack that problem at its source.
Most of the work that I have done up until working for Utrifix was predicting these blooms. Let's just figure out when they're going to happen, and then, okay, we put up the signs, don't go in the water body. But we're kind of in this place where that's not acceptable anymore.
Dr. Alexis Fisher is a water quality specialist with Utrifix. She says the natural ingredients they're dropping into the pond binds that stubborn phosphorus to the lake sediment so it won't rise to the surface and feed harmful algae anymore. Water managers say this same treatment could potentially be used to treat other lakes in the state as well, but nothing is set in stone yet. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Utah's record low snowpack this year is having a huge impact on the state's economy. The Great Salt Lake Alliance hosted a panel luncheon Monday where Executive Director Lindsay Smith says they heard from local leaders about how the low snowpack affected everything from tourism to agriculture.
When we are dealing with water, air quality, etc., it all has an impact on our quality of life, the economy, and how we enjoy our lives here in Utah.
Smith says they also talked about how radical water conservation is needed because we don't know if Utah will continue to have more dry years like this in the future. Riverdale has some new watering restrictions. The city says it has a 20% smaller water supply than in previous years. Residents can only start using sprinklers this Friday, and no watering will be allowed between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. The city's asking residents to be water conscious and cut their usage by 20%. Utah farmers are looking at a summer of hard decisions after that record low snowpack season. KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis reports.
Farmers are looking at reservoir levels and with the current forecast having to make some difficult decisions. Utah Department of Agriculture Executive Director Kelly Fearson says it's hard for producers to make decisions when they can't even get 2 years of consistent weather. Now many are looking at having to haul water to the area, sell cattle, or buy hay when none of that was the original plan.
The Utah Department of Agriculture and Food is also looking to inform producers about the resources available to them. Another step to support the homeless population. KSL News Radio's Michelle Rowe has the details.
This week, the Office of Homeless Services launches Project Bridge.
We're taking services on the road to our resource centers and connecting our resource centers with our community partners who do work in addiction recovery, mental health, housing connections, and many more.
State Homeless Coordinator Tyler Clancy says they hope to tailor the support people need because one-size-fits-all service isn't effective. He also says that these efforts will help alleviate suffering, benefit public safety, and make homeless shelters safer for those who are trying to turn their situation around. Michelle Rowe, KSL News Radio.
KSL's top national stories. King Charles III and Queen Camilla are at the White House. The visit comes as the war in Iran strains the two countries' relationship. ABC News White House correspondent Karen Travers has the latest.
President Trump today touted the special relationship between the U.S. and the United Kingdom as he welcomed King Charles and Queen Camilla to the White House during a ceremony on the South Lawn full of pomp and circumstance.
We speak the same language. We hold the same values. And together our warriors have defended the same extraordinary civilization under twin banners of red, white, and blue.
The president noted, as he often does, his Scottish heritage on his mother's side and his mother's fondness for the royal family, especially King Charles' mother, Queen Elizabeth II. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
Other national stories KSL is following. President Trump's attempt to remake the Kennedy Center faced a critical legal test today.
Federal judge in Washington, D.C. heard arguments on Tuesday morning about an attempt by Representative Joyce Beatty to block the renaming, closure, and renovation of the Kennedy Center. Beatty, an ex officio trustee of the Performing Arts Center, initially brought her lawsuit last year to challenge the renaming of the Trump Kennedy Center, an action she described as, quote, more reminiscent of authoritarian regimes than the American Republic. Peter Haralambous, ABC News.
First look traffic, here's Ricky Meese.
We do have a crash in Box Elder County. This is at Main Street. That's Highway 89 at 750 North in Willard, and it is blocking off a lot of that intersection. Traffic control in place to get you through. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL News Time, 12:35.
Amanda, every business needs IT help, and sometimes you've got that guy who already works for your company who knows how to do this stuff, but sometimes you don't, or the guy who knows the IT stuff, that's not his actual job.
Right. So Les Olson IT they can be your 24/7 help desk. They can support your existing help desk. They can do advanced cybersecurity protection. Maybe just come and take a look. Are you subject to phishing or ransomware or other things? What are the cyber threats you're facing?
And you've got to make sure that your data is secure, so both cloud and data backup solutions, they can help you with that. Plus, everybody's got to use a computer. That's where hardware comes in, infrastructure support. You don't have to know all this this stuff because Les Olson IT knows it.
And most of the time, they can help you fix whatever's going wrong remotely, just off your computer. Plus, of course, they have copiers and printers. They always will at the very best price.
Les Olson IT is your trusted local IT partner. They've been in business for 70 years, and they've got 9 locations from Logan to Las Vegas.
Find out more at lesolson.com.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Will?
When I was 50, my whole life fell apart. I lost my job, I lost my wife, I lost the house, I lost pretty much everything except for my life. When the IRS came calling, I just didn't have it in me. I felt like Wile E. Coyote, just waiting for that IRS anvil to drop.
Then Will found tax relief advocates.
I heard their advertisement on the radio, I wrote down the number, and I made the call that changed everything. The IRS gave me a bill for $40,000. Tax relief advocates got that down to $3,200. I've paid 9 cents on the dollar. Now that's a great deal in anybody's book.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Will did and call TRA for a consultation.
But for me, the real win is I got my life back.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-488-2578. 800-488-2578. That's 800-488-2578.
Utah water officials are trying to find new ways to fight toxic algal blooms, allowing people and nature to enjoy the state's natural resources. KSL News Time, 12:37. Today, the governor and UDOT will kick off the Utah Trail Network in Moab. KSL News Radio's Tammy Kikuchi reports the first project is there right now.
When it's complete, the network of trails will connect the state with about 2,600 miles of new paved trails and an additional 500 miles of existing trails. UDOT's John Gleason says the Moab project is only 0.7 of a mile long, but closes the gap on the Colorado River Trail.
And take out that trouble spot there that puts people out onto this narrow stretch of highway and creates a real safety issue.
Right now, bikers and pedestrians must traverse the route without any protection from traffic. Gleason says the idea is to connect communities the same way as highways do. Tammy Kikuchi, KSL News Radio.
We've now seen 2 hikers die in Zion National Park just as tourism in the parks picked up. The second fall happened last Wednesday. Washington County Sheriff's Office Sergeant Jacob Paul and a group of hikers found him and called for help. Paul says the man is from California and had been in the area several times for rock scrambling, climbing, and route finding without a rope, and that was likely the cause of his fall.
Being prepared, having people come with you, having the proper first aid equipment to help you in the event that you do fall.
Sergeant Paul says in another incident over the weekend, a woman was airlifted after falling 15 feet off a trail in Ivins. She had others with her who quickly called for help. A San Juan County mine is making history by partnering with Mariana Minerals to reopen with the help of robots and AI. Copper One will use tools for mining, refining, and project execution. It's the first mine ever to do that. Mariana Minerals says the technology will significantly increase copper production, and Governor Spencer Cox has been vocal about his support for the project. He says the mine will help boost the county's economy, and it will also help localize the supply for a growing demand for copper. KSL News Time, 12:39. Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s, brought to you by UCCU. Earn 4.24% on savings at UCCU.com. Here's Ricky Meese.
Heads up, Draper drivers. We have a disabled vehicle in traffic, and it's just stuck there on southbound I-15 at 104th South. It's in the center lane, so traffic is starting to slow down approaching that area, so we're starting to see delays. But you want to use caution. You don't want to hit this person, and they would appreciate not being hit. But until UHP arrives and can get them out of traffic, that center lane is going to be blocked. So consider taking the left or right lanes in order to get around it. Now, we still have crews directing traffic through the area where we have this crash in Box Elder County at the intersection of Main Street, Highway 89 at 750 North in Willard. The rest of your Valley freeways are seeing a nice and quiet drive. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Beautiful spring weather as the storm clears out. I've got partly cloudy conditions today with a high of 60. 65 tomorrow, partly cloudy. Mixture of sunshine and clouds passing by Thursday with a high of 67. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now, it's 55 degrees in Provo and 54 in Salt Lake City. Coming up on Midday, we'll talk to a specialist on UK and US relations as the Queen and King spend time in D.C. That's coming up, streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Usually when something sounds way too good to be true, it is. Imagine someone saying you can cut your mobile bill in half. Sounds like a fantasy, but with Xfinity Mobile, it's the real deal. Because when you have Xfinity Internet, you can cut your mobile bill in half, plus try Xfinity Mobile free for a year. No commitment. That's a lot of streaming, sharing, scrolling, whatever else you can do with your phone, all for half the price and none of the commitment. That means you'll save big over Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. Wild. Now all you have to do is think about how you'll spend all that extra money. Call 1-800-XFINITY, go to xfinitymobile.com, or visit your local Xfinity store to switch today. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Savings compare one line of Xfinity Mobile Select to comparable plans from T-Mobile, Verizon, and AT&T as of 3/24/26. Taxes, fees extra. $30 monthly discount limited to new mobile customers only after 12 months. Regular rates apply. Go to xfinitymobile.com.
Doug Wright here with Monty at Connecticut Quality Water Systems of Salt Lake, an authorized independent dealer. Monty, give it to me straight. Why is Connecticut the premium choice over those standard electric softeners?
Doug, it comes down to this. Do you want an appliance you have to babysit? Standard water softeners have microprocessors and computers that need setting and adjustment, and they use a lot more salt. So you get to haul 40-pound bags of salt down to your basement every month or so.
And Connecticut?
Zero electricity, zero timers to reset, zero downtime, and uses 70% less salt. It's a higher standard of engineering that completely removes the hassle of owning a water softener.
That's what I love about my Connecticut. Dee and I never have to even think about it. We occasionally add a bag of salt and it just works, and I've never had to set or adjust anything. Do what I did and get the one that just works. Find out how soft your water could be at softwaterutah.com. That's softwaterutah.com.
Many people worry they're not making the right investment choices inside their 401ks. Did you know that you might have a little-known opportunity to add some additional investment choices to your 401k and get the help and recommendations you've been looking for? This exciting feature is called a self-directed brokerage window. And the best part? The money still stays within your 401k. Learn how the trusted advisors at Capital Wealth may be able to expand your investment portfolio. To learn more, call or text the word VISIT to 801-877-9800 or go to CapitalWealth401k.com. Improving your 401k might mean the difference of retiring a few years earlier. Let's find out. Schedule your no-cost 15-minute consultation with the Capital Wealth team today. Call or text the word VISIT to 801-877-9800 or go to CapitalWealth401k.com. Advisory services offered through Capital Wealth Advisors, LLC, a state of Utah registered investment advisor.
KSL News Time, 1244. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
the low snowpack has left Utah farmers in the dust, many considering selling off cattle or having to transport water to the area. I'm KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis.
Second, King Charles is in the U.S. and is expected to speak to Congress soon. Third, traffic and weather together.
Left and center lanes now blocked on southbound I-15 as UHP is working to get this stalled vehicle out of traffic. It's southbound I-15 at 114th South. You could see traffic that's stopped at times, and we do have delays building in the area. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Low 60s today, but 70s in the forecast. I'm Matt Johnson.
It's 54 degrees and partly cloudy at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Now to KSL's top national stories.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Former FBI Director James Comey has been indicted again by a grand jury, this time for an Instagram post last year showing the formation of seashells on the beach that read 8647. Citing the slang meaning of 86 as to nix or get rid of something, prosecutors allege the post was a veiled threat against President Trump. Here's ABC's Catherine Faulders.
It's important
to point out that the Supreme Court in 2023 found it required an individual to show that they understood the message that they were posting. That would require a true threat. Comey has said that he didn't know what it means, and he's since deleted that post. Nevertheless, a grand jury in North Carolina has returned an indictment over that Instagram post.
King Charles has arrived on Capitol Hill to address both chambers of Congress this afternoon. It comes amid tensions between the UK and the U.S. over the ongoing war with Iran, now in its 9th week. Gas prices in the U.S. now at the highest levels in 4 years. This is ABC News.
Time for the KSL In-Depth. Tensions between the U.S. and the U.K. escalate as the war in Iran continues, and President Trump's rocky relationship with Prime Minister Keir Starmer isn't helping. Barclay Burns is the assistant dean of the College of Engineering and Technology at Utah Valley University, and he does extensive research on the relations between the countries. He joins me now live. Thanks for coming on the show.
Hey, it's great to be here. Thank you so kindly.
Yeah. So what's the relationship like between the two countries, and where will this go? And how does this relate to Utah?
Well, I'll start with this. 3 years ago, our governor, Spencer Cox, signed a memorandum of understanding with the UK, with the Prime Minister's office around trade relationships. And so that's going really well. I just want to point that out. So we have these great relationships in pharmacy and in biotech, in life science, in software, in quantum computing, in aerospace. And so there are real companies coming together, having real conversations that are really rich. And so we kind of stem from that perspective. So what I think you'll find in Utah and around the country is a lot of states working really closely with different agencies in the UK and different companies, and that goes really well. People tend to have these long-term relationships between the US and the UK, and people they get along really well, and people, there's just an underlying understanding of how people do business, our core values. There's a lot of just great things to build upon.
So what do you think we'll achieve from this visit with the Royals?
You know, I think it will be a really positive thing. I think there's this long history of the Royals being beloved in the U.S., and I think it signals friendship, and I think it signals a meaningful relationship that the UK and the U.S. wish to maintain and move forward. I think it's a very positive thing.
Yeah, so the tension with Iran, you don't think is going to put a damper on this relationship that's been going for, decades, centuries now?
I think these things come and go, but I think at the end of the day, the relationships between the two countries are deep and meaningful, and the shared values are very deep in terms of just the cultures that we both share. And so I'm really optimistic that the relationship will just continue. And the way in which we do business with each other and the way in which we have exchanges with students, I think that will all just keep going really well.
Okay, thank you so much for joining me. That was Barclay Burns, the Assistant Dean of College of Engineering and Technology at Utah Valley University. KSL News Time, 12:49. Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s, brought to you by UCCU. Build smart, save big with construction loans at UCCU. Here's Ricky Meese.
Troopers have been able to get this disabled vehicle sitting in the center lane of travel out of traffic on southbound I-15 in Draper at 114th South. It now sits over to the left. All lanes are now open, but residual delays go from Draper back to Sandy at 106 South. But traffic is starting to move again, so those delays will clear out pretty quickly, hopefully, if no other problems appear. Again, that's southbound I-15 at 114 South. In Box Elder County, we have this crash at the intersection of Main Street, Highway 89, 750 North in Willard. A lot of that intersection is blocked to traffic. What lanes are open, you do have officers there directing you through. It just might be a spot you want to avoid and find an alternate route so you don't get stuck behind some of those backups. Does your mom dream of asphalt? Well, maybe not, but she does dream of things done right. Whether you park it, stripe it, or pave it, GoPave's got your blacktop covered. Visit GoPaveUtah.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast, 60 today, partly cloudy. Tomorrow, 65, partly cloudy again. We'll do a third straight day of partly cloudy skies on Thursday with the high of 67. Here comes the warmth, 70 on Friday, mostly sunny. 76 on Saturday, sunshine. You got partly cloudy conditions on Sunday with a high of 79. And then we dial it back to 76 with mostly cloudy skies come Monday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now, it's 43 degrees in Park City and 54 in Salt Lake City. The 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
We want to talk about soda, diet, and nutrition. SOTA stands for state of the art. And Andy and I both let go of massive amounts of weight. You more than me.
70 pounds in 5 months.
And I did 37 pounds in 3 months. And what worked for me was so many things. Talking to a nutritionist every week and having her tell me what to eat. I can do as I'm told.
Yeah.
But I have no clue where to begin.
And I needed the help too. It's just food. There's no pills, no injections. So you learn how to both let go of the weight and then how to keep it off.
So soda, diet, and nutrition is a great place to start. But if you started with pills or medications and you find yourself starting to gain some weight back, soda, diet, and nutrition is a great way to learn how to have a new relationship with food to go into the future.
You can talk with a nutritionist by calling 866-800-SOTA, S-O-T-A, or you can go to their website, sotadietandnutrition.com.
Join now and your partner joins for free. 2 people, real accountability for the price of 1.
Join us for a short time to have results that last a lifetime.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $3 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
KSL Broadcast Group contests are open to participants 18 years of age and older that are residents of Utah, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest may not enter. Persons who have won in the last 30, 60, or 90 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available at kslnewsradio.com/contests.
When it comes to vaping, the truth can get clouded. So let's make it clear. Vaping is not safe for youth.
Because vaping can put microscopic particles into your lungs.
And dangerous things like metals into your body.
And nicotine, which can harm a person's brain development through their mid-20s.
With appealing flavors, high nicotine levels, and lots of promotion on social media.
Many kids think vaping is harmless, but it's not.
So talk to your kids about the risks of vaping.
Because when you talk, they hear you.
Learn more at underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
An extreme Jeopardy upset. Jamie Ding has lost after winning 31 games. That puts him in the top 5 players of all time. He left the show with more than $880,000 in winnings. Watching Utah's money, it's costing more to get a car, and more people are getting at least 6-year loans to own them. Lending Tree says 34.9% of U.S. borrowers have loans that long, and they're paying an average of $8,750 more in interest over the life of those loans. Spotify is teaming up with Peloton. The two will launch a fitness category, making more than 1,400 classes available to Spotify premium subscribers. CNBC reports it's the music streaming app's first real push into the wellness market. And Google just signed a deal with the Pentagon. The U.S. Department of Defense will now be using its AI models. That data will be classified and allows them to use the programs for any unlawful government purpose. Reuters reports it's just the latest tech to join others, including OpenAI and XAI. Your money at this moment, the Dow is down 30 points, the S&P is down 37 points, and the NASDAQ is down 219. A proposal for a new tax on billionaires is advancing in California.
Supporters of a new tax on billionaires are celebrating, appearing to gain more than enough signatures to get the proposal on the November ballot in California. The measure would impose a one-time 5% tax on the assets of more than 200 billionaires living in the state, factoring in their stocks, art and collectibles, and their intellectual property.
ABC's Sophie Flay reporting.
Come see what all the buzz is about at Utah's oldest Volkswagen dealer, Strong Volkswagen. New Jetta are just $158 a month during Volkswagen Driver Days. At Strong Volkswagen, lease new 2026 Jetta S, just $158 a month. $158. Even new Tiguan, $233 a month. $233. And the roomy, family-ready Atlas, just $350 a month. Atlas comes standard with heated seats, heated steering wheel, keyless start, and third-row seating. They're selling fast with 0% financing for 60 months. And you get a lifetime warranty. Lifetime, no charge. Make a beeline for German engineering and a new lineup that's creating all the buzz. New Jetta, $158 a month. New Tiguan, $233 a month during Volkswagen Driver Days at Strong. Strong Volkswagen, driven by transparency, built on family, powered by people who care. For over 70 years, Strong Volkswagen, located downtown. StrongVW.com. StrongVW.com. For details, call 801-596-2200.
Getting help with electrical repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
You served behind the desk.
You served in combat.
You did 4 years and got out.
You were drafted.
You gave 20 years.
You gave exactly what your country needed.
And so did you.
When you raised your hand and swore an oath to your country, when you put your name on a dotted line, you became part of only 1% of Americans who did the same. You are a veteran.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran. Because no matter when, where, or how you served, you made a sacrifice for your country, and you deserve support.
If you're struggling with life after service, don't wait. Reach out.
Reach out to a loved one, to a fellow veteran, to VA.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
KSL News Time, 12:58. Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s. Brought to you by UCCU. Build smart, save big. UCCU. Love where you bank. Here's Ricky Meese.
Another disabled vehicle in traffic. This time it's Sandy. It's at the exit ramp in the left lane from southbound I-15 at 90th South to go eastbound on 90th. We are seeing delays packed onto the off-ramp almost to the main flow. Spring has blossomed in Box Elder County. History, recreation, and wildlife, and excellent dining and shopping await you. Learn more at visitboxeldercounty.com. Produced in cooperation with the Utah Office of Tourism. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
High of 60 in the forecast today with some clouds, and temperatures start stair-stepping upward. 65 tomorrow, 67 Thursday, 70 Friday, and then highs 70 over the weekend. Right now, we're looking at partly cloudy skies and 54 degrees in Salt Lake City.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
A joint session of Congress awaiting remarks from the United Kingdom's King Charles right now as the King visits President Trump to celebrate the country's 250th birthday.
We speak the same language. We hold the same values. And together our warriors have defended the same extraordinary civilization under twin banners of red, white, and blue.
The time is 1 o'clock on Tuesday, April 28th. It's midday. I'm Heather Peterson, filling in today for Maria Shilaos. Coming up, we'll bring you the historic speech live. Also this hour,
a developer creates a board and then they can issue municipal bonds.
growing concerns that unelected developers are taking advantage of their ability to tax people on new developments. We'll break down a new investigation coming up at 1:35. But first, our top stories. Our top story this hour is national news. The Justice Department has indicted former FBI Director James Comey again. It's the administration's second time trying to prosecute Comey over a photo he posted.
And the Iranians appear to think that they still have cards to play in their stranglehold over the Strait of Hormuz. The pain that's inflicting on the world economy, pushing up energy prices and gas prices in the U.S. with the midterms just months away, that'll be too much for Donald Trump ultimately to handle. And that is the position that we're in right now.
ABC News Chief Global Affairs anchor Martha Raddatz says peace talks are stuck on the tolling of the strait and nuclear weapons.
The administration making clear Iran's proposal to seek tolls from ships passing through the Strait of Hormuz in exchange for reopening the vital waterway is a non-starter. With officials telling ABC News Iran is also attempting to hold off on nuclear talks until a future date, which Secretary of State Marco Rubio said is the reason we went to war with Iran in the first place.
As the war in Iran drags on, no relief on the price to fill up your car. The average price of regular gas per gallon is up 12 cents from yesterday, up 40% since the war began. Here in Utah, you'll pay about $4.28 a gallon. Despite rising oil and gas prices, Americans are holding steady on their confidence in the overall U.S. economy.
Americans are anxious about rising gas prices, that's for certain, but they're slightly more confident in the overall economy than they were a month earlier. Consumer confidence ticking up from March through April, even though comments and concerns submitted to the Conference Board about oil and gas supplies did increase as prices grew higher. The average price of gas now $4.18 a gallon nationwide.
ABC's Sherry Preston there. Your money at this moment, the Dow is down 57 points, the S&P 500 is down 34 points, and the NASDAQ is down 199. Traffic and weather together brought to you by UCCU. Earn 4.24% on savings at UCCU.com. Here's Ricky Meese.
A quiet drive on the Valley freeways. The disabled vehicle at the exit ramp 90th South from southbound I-15 has been cleared, but crews are still working on this crash in Box Elder County, partially closing the road at the intersection of Main Street, Highway 89, and 750 North in Willard. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Some nice spring weather ahead this week. We're looking at some clouds and a high of 60 today. More of the same, but in the mid-60s Wednesday, Thursday. Then we'll get up to 70 by Friday. Right now it's partly cloudy and 54 degrees from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
We finally realized something.
We wanted more time for family, faith, and service.
And less time giving every Saturday to the house.
At Ovation Homes, active adults 55 plus can enjoy beautifully designed, low-maintenance homes in a welcoming community built for this season of life.
More peace, less upkeep.
And more time for what matters most.
Learn more about Ovation Homes' newest communities in West Point, Syracuse, and Layton. Visit ovationhomes.com. That's ovationhomes.com. Your best years start at Ovation Homes.
Let's be responsible.
Yeah, absolutely.
That counts.
Safe, secure, and built for comfort. With locations in Syracuse, West Point, and Layton. Downsize without compromise. With a home that truly fits your lifestyle. To learn more and see all the amenities, visit ovationhomesutah.com. That's ovationhomesutah.com. Your best years start at Ovation Homes.
Cracked glass. If you drive, you've likely taken a hit.
It's getting to be a bigger problem every year. Rock hits right here.
But when that crack might have been prevented,
I saw the mud flaps all but worn off.
Does the law protect you?
They bank on the fact that no one's going to pursue them.
Could you pull this person over?
Yeah, I could.
I'll investigate why you could still be paying for that repair and what it takes to get rock chip justice. Tonight at 10 on KSL.
Donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 877 Cars for Kids to speak to a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Go to carsforkids.org now or call 877 Cars for Kids to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K.
We begin this hour of Midday with breaking news. I'm Heather Peterson in for Maria Shilaos. The UK's King Charles is addressing a joint session of Congress. It comes as he visits the United States to help celebrate the 250th anniversary of the founding of our country. He just walked into the halls of Congress to a standing ovation, shook some hands. He is right in front of Vice President J.D. Vance, just getting ready to speak. Let's listen in live to his speech.
Members of Congress, I have the high privilege and distinct honor of presenting to you His Majesty Charles III.
Mr. Vice President, Mr. Speaker, members of Congress, representatives of the American people across all states, territories, cities, and communities. I would like, if I may, to take this opportunity to express my particular gratitude to you all for the great honor of addressing this joint meeting of Congress, and on behalf of the Queen and myself, to thank the American people for welcoming us to the United States to mark this semi-quincentennial year of the Declaration of Independence. And for all of that time, for all of that time, our destinies as nations have been interlinked. As Oscar Wilde said, we have really everything in common with America nowadays, except, of course, language. So, ladies and gentlemen, we meet in times of great uncertainty, in times of conflict from Europe to the Middle East, which pose immense challenges for the international community and whose impact is felt in communities the length and breadth of our own countries. We meet, too, in the aftermath of the incident not far from this great building that sought to harm the leadership of your nation and to foment wider fear and discord. Let me say with unshakable resolve, such acts of violence will never succeed. whatever our differences, whatever disagreements we may have, we stand united in our commitment to uphold democracy, to protect all our people from harm, and to salute the courage of those who daily risk their lives in the service of our countries. Standing here today, it is hard not to feel the weight of history on my shoulder, because the modern relationship between our two nations and our own peoples spans not merely 250 years, but over 4 centuries. It is extraordinary to think that I am the 19th in our line of sovereigns to study with daily attention the affairs of America. So I come here today with the highest respect for the United States Congress, this citadel of democracy created to represent the voice of all American people to advance sacred rights and freedoms. Speaking in this renowned chamber of debate and deliberation, I cannot help but think of my late mother, Queen Elizabeth, who in 1991 was also afforded this signal honor and similarly spoke under the watchful eye of the Statue of Freedom above us. Today, I am here on this great occasion in the life of our nations to express the highest regard and friendship of the British people to the people of the United States. Now, as you may know, when I address my own Parliament at Westminster, we still follow an age-old tradition and take a Member of Parliament hostage, holding him or her at Buckingham Palace until I am safely returned. These days, we look after our guests rather well, to the point that they often do not want to leave. I don't know, Mr. Speaker, if there were any volunteers for that role here today. As I look back across the centuries, Mr. Speaker, there emerge certain patterns, certain self-evident truths from which we can learn and draw mutual strength. With the spirit of 1776 in our minds, we can perhaps agree that we do not always agree, at least in the first instance. Indeed, the very principle on which your Congress was founded, no taxation without representation, was at once a fundamental disagreement between us, and at the same time a shared democratic value which you inherited from us. Ours is a partnership born out of dispute, but no less strong for it. So perhaps in this example, we can discern that our nations are in fact instinctively like-minded, a product of the common democratic, legal, and social traditions in which our governance is rooted to this day. Drawing on these values and traditions, time and again, our two countries have always found ways to come together. And by Jove, Mr. Speaker, when we have found that way to agree, what great change is brought about, not just for the benefit of our peoples, but of all peoples. This, I believe, is the special ingredient in our relationship. As President Trump himself observed during his state visit to Britain last autumn, the bond of kinship and identity between America and the United Kingdom is priceless and eternal. It is irreplaceable and unbreakable. Mr. Speaker, this is by no means my first visit to Washington, D.C., the capital of this great republic. It is, in fact, my 20th visit to the United States and my first as king and head of the Commonwealth. This is a city which symbolizes a period in our shared history, or what Charles Dickens might have called a tale of two Georges. The first president, George Washington, and my 5 times great-grandfather, King George III. King George, as you know, never set foot in America, and please rest assured, ladies and gentlemen, I am not here as part of some cunning rearguard action. The founding fathers were bold and imaginative rebels with a cause. 250 years ago, or as we say in the United Kingdom, just the other day, they declared independence. By balancing contending forces and drawing strength in diversity, they united 13 disparate colonies to forge a nation on the revolutionary idea of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. They carried with them and carried forward the great inheritance of the British Enlightenment, as well as the ideals which had an even deeper history in English common law and Magna Carta. These roots run deep, and they are still vital. Our Declaration of Rights of 1689 was not only the foundation of our constitutional monarchy, but also provided the source of so many of the principles reiterated, often verbatim, in the American Bill of Rights of 1791. And those roots go even further back in history. The US Supreme Court Historical Society has calculated that Magna Carta is cited in at least 160 Supreme Court cases since 1789, not least as the foundation of the principle that executive power is subject to checks and balances. This is the reason why there stands a stone by the River Thames at Runnymede, where Magna Carta was signed in the year 1215. This stone records that an acre of that ancient and historic site was given to the United States of America by the people of the United Kingdom to symbolize our shared resolve in support of liberty and in memory of President John F. Kennedy. Distinguished members of the 119th Congress, it is here in these very halls that this spirit of liberty and the promise of America's founders is present in every session and every vote cast, not by the will of one, but by the deliberation of many, representing the living mosaic of the United States. In both of our countries, it is the very fact of our vibrant, diverse, and free societies that gives us our collective strength, including to support victims of some of the ills that so tragically exist in both our societies today. And, Mr. Speaker, for many here, and for myself, the Christian faith is a firm anchor and daily inspiration that guides us, not only personally, that guides us not only personally, but together as members of our community. Having devoted a large part of my life to interfaith relationships and greater understanding, it is that faith in the triumph of light over darkness which I have found confirmed countless times. Through it, I am inspired by the profound respect that develops as people of different faiths grow in their understanding of each other. It is why, it is my hope, my prayer, that in these turbulent times, working together and with our international partners, we can stem the beating of plowshares into swords. I am mindful that we are still in the season of Easter, the season that most strengthens my hope. It is why I believe with all my heart that the essence of our two nations is a generosity of spirit and a duty to foster compassion, to promote peace, to deepen mutual understanding, and to value all people of all faiths and of none. The alliance that our two nations have built over the centuries, and for which we are profoundly grateful to the American people, is truly unique. And that alliance is part of what Henry Kissinger described as Kennedy's soaring vision of an Atlantic partnership based on twin pillars, Europe and America. That partnership, I believe, Mr. Speaker, is more important today than it has ever been. The first reigning British sovereign to set foot in America was my grandfather, King George VI. He visited in 1939 with my beloved grandmother, Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother. The forces of fascism in Europe were on the march, and sometime before the United States had joined us in the defense of freedom, our shared values prevailed. Today, we find ourselves in a new era, but those values remain. It is an era that is in many ways more volatile and more dangerous than the world to which my late mother spoke in this chamber in 1991. The challenges we face are too great for any one nation to bear alone. But in this unpredictable environment, our alliance cannot rest on past achievements or assume that foundational principles simply endure. As my Prime Minister said last month, ours is an indispensable partnership. We must not disregard everything that has sustained us for the last 80 years. Instead, we must build on it. Renewal today starts with security. The United Kingdom recognizes that the threats we face demand a transformation in British defence. That is why our country, in order to be fit for the future, has committed to the biggest sustained increase in defence spending since the Cold War, during part of which, over 50 years ago, I served with immense pride in the Royal Navy, following in the naval footsteps of my father, Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh, my grandfather, King George VI, my great-uncle, Lord Mountbatten, and my great-grandfather, King George V. This year, of course, also marks the 25th anniversary of 9/11. This atrocity was a defining moment for America, and your pain and shock were felt around the whole world. During my visit to New York, my wife and I will again pay our respects to the victims, the families, and the bravery shown in the face of terrible loss. We stood with you then, and we stand with you now in solemn remembrance of a day that shall never be forgotten. In the immediate aftermath of 9/11, when NATO invoked Article 5 for the first time, and the United Nations Security Council was united in the face of terror, we answered the call together, as our people have done so for more than a century, shoulder to shoulder, through 2 world wars, the Cold War, Afghanistan, and moments that have defined our shared security. Today, Mr. Speaker, that same unyielding resolve is needed for the defense of Ukraine and her most courageous people. It is needed in order to secure a truly just and lasting peace. From the depths of the Atlantic to the disastrously melting ice caps of the Arctic, the commitment and expertise of the United States Armed Forces and its allies lie at the heart of NATO, pledged to each other's defense, protecting our citizens and interests, keeping North Americans and Europeans safe from our common adversaries. Our defense, intelligence, and security ties are hardwired together through relationships measured not in years, but in decades. Today, thousands of US service personnel, defense officials and their families are stationed in the United Kingdom, as British personnel serve with equal pride across 30 American states. We are building F-35s together, and we have agreed the most ambitious submarine program in history, AUKUS. And we are doing it in partnership with Australia, a country of which I'm also immensely proud to serve as sovereign. We do not embark on these remarkable endeavors together out of sentiment. We do so because they build greater shared resilience for the future, so making our citizens safer for generations to come. Our common ideals were not only crucial for liberty and equality, they are also the foundation of our shared prosperity. The rule of law, the certainty of stable and accessible rules, an independent judiciary resolving disputes and delivering impartial justice. These features created the conditions for centuries of unmatched economic growth in our 2 countries. This is why our governments are concluding new economic and technology agreements to write the next chapter of our joint prosperity and ensure that British and American ingenuity continues to lead the world. Our nations are combining talent and resources in the technologies of tomorrow. Our new partnerships in nuclear fusion and quantum computing and in AI and drug discovery, holding the promise of saving countless lives. More broadly, we celebrate the $430 billion in annual trade that continues to grow, the $1.7 trillion in mutual investment that fuels that innovation, and the millions of jobs on both sides of the Atlantic supported across both economies. These are strong foundations on which to continue to build for generations yet unborn. Our ties in education, research, and cultural exchange empower citizens and future leaders of both countries. The Marshall Scholarship, named after the great General George Marshall, and the association of which I am so proud to be patron, are emblematic of the connection between our two countries. Since its founding, more than 2,300 scholarships have been awarded, opening doors for Americans from all walks of life to study at the United Kingdom's leading universities. So as we look toward the next 250 years, we must also reflect on our shared responsibility to safeguard nature, our most precious and irreplaceable asset. Millennia before our nations existed, before any border drawn, the mountains of Scotland and Appalachia were one, a single continuous range forged in the ancient collision of continents. The natural wonders of the United States of America are indeed a unique asset, and generations of Americans have risen to this calling. Indigenous, political, and civic leaders, people in rural communities and cities alike, have all helped to protect and nurture what President Theodore Roosevelt called the glorious heritage of this land's extraordinary natural splendor, on which so much of its prosperity has always depended. Yet, even as we celebrate the beauty that surrounds us, our generation must decide how to address the collapse of critical natural systems, which threatens far more than the harmony and essential diversity of nature. We ignore at our peril the fact that these natural systems, in other words, nature's own economy, provide the foundation for our prosperity and our national security. The story of the United Kingdom and the United States is at its heart a story of reconciliation, renewal, and remarkable partnership. From the bitter divisions of 250 years ago, we forged a friendship that has grown into one of the most consequential alliances in human history. I pray with all my heart that our alliance will continue to defend our shared values with our partners in Europe and the Commonwealth and across the world. And that we ignore the clarion calls to become ever more inward-looking. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Vice President, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, America's words carry weight and meaning, as they have since independence. The actions of this great nation matter even more. President Lincoln understood this so well with his reflection in the magisterial Gettysburg Address, that the world may little note what we say, but will never forget what we do. And so to the United States of America, on your 250th birthday, let our two countries rededicate ourselves to each other in the selfless service of our peoples and of all the peoples of the world. God bless the United States, and God bless the United Kingdom.
You've been listening to King Charles deliver a historic address to Congress. Before we get to break, though, let's take a quick look at traffic. Brought to you by UCCU. Earn 4.24% on savings at uccu.com. Ricky, what's going on?
Well, Heather, we have a new crash in Davis County with possible injuries, and it's starting to cause delays. This is northbound I-15 near Burton Lane going from Farmington to Kaysville. Near the Kaysville rest area, that right lane is blocked and traffic is backing up. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Any Hour Services free furnace sale is going on right now. If you haven't scheduled your free estimate yet, do it now. Call Any Hour Services today or schedule online at anyhourservices.com.
Hi, it's Greg Skordas, and for years and years, I'd maintained the same weight until I hit 60, and then it started piling on. I don't know why. I could not get that weight to come off. So I contacted Soda, and I said, look, I need to lose between 20 and 30 pounds. They said, sign up, and so I did. There's no pills, there's no injections, it's just food. I have a nutritionist who helps me, and I told her, look, I can't even wear some of the suits I used to wear. Well, after the first week, I lost 8 pounds. After the second week, I'd lost over 10 pounds. I'm starting to be able to put some of my suits on. I'm starting to be able to put my belt on like I hadn't before. I'm back on the bicycle again. I'm getting outside again, and I'm doing the activities that I did when I was 40 years old. The food is great. My wife is on board. She's cooking consistent with the program, and we're having a lot of fun doing it, and we're sharing a lot of this together. SodaDietNutrition.com. It's a great program. It's worked for me. It'll work for you. SOTA, as in state of the art. SodaDietNutrition.com. Soda Weight Loss. Join them for a short time to have results that last a lifetime.
A multi-billion-dollar settlement is paying claims for up to 21 years. If you were exposed to weed killers at work or at home, your rights are affected. If you or your family has or had non-Hodgkin lymphoma, you could receive $6,000 to $165,000 or more. This settlement impacts you even if you're not sick, because this blood cancer can take 10 to 15 years to appear. If you stay in the settlement, you give up your right to sue. Learn more at weedkillerclass.com or call 888-403-8201. Paid for by the Roundup Settlement.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
You're listening to Midday. I'm Heather Peterson, in today for Maria Shilaos. Who has the power to tax Utahns? It's supposed to be the elected representatives for your city, country, state, county, but there's a concern in Utah that unelected developers are taking advantage of their power to tax people on new developments. We're talking about public infrastructure districts, also known as PIDs. Eric Peterson, a journalist with the Utah Investigative Journalism Project, has been diving into this problem and breaks it down for us.
The legislature allows these public infrastructure districts to be created where a developer creates a board and then they can issue municipal bonds to help put in all this expensive infrastructure. And they've really taken off since 2019, so much so that the treasurer's office and the auditors have really started noticing this is kind of skyrocketing rise in public infrastructure districts, or PIDs as they're called. And in that basically 5-year period, have been over 200 formed. And since they have access to this municipal bonds, they've actually have more bond debt than the state of Utah. It's more than triple the state of Utah, actually.
Okay, so just reiterate for us then as simply as you can, how do these PIDs accumulate the debt and who ultimately pays for the projects?
Right. So the developers, they get these municipal bonds, and what happens is that the developers then have the ability to pass on a kind of a property tax or an assessment to the new home buyers for these, developments that they create. So part of the concern there is that it was not until just recently that legislation addressed the disclosure of this new kind of potentially hidden property tax. Prior to this past legislative session, they did not even need to disclose beforehand to a home buyer that there is this this new assessment or property tax that they had no idea about. So there have been some people who've had some real sticker shock. And, the legislation that addressed it this session did make it so that you have to disclose this new, potentially large hidden fee, but at or before closing. So it can be at closing. You can be there and you've, been working on this for months or longer, saving up the money, jumping through all the hoops, and you're there at the finish line with a stack of giant documents to go through, and then discover that you actually have a very potentially large payment that you did not know was there before. And the way these bonds work is that those payments can be paid off for 30 or 40 years. So it has the potential to be almost like a second mortgage.
And are there any legal concerns with this?
Yeah, I mean, it's a real sticking point between different parties. So Jen Brown of the Utah Citizens for the Constitution is someone I also talked about who asks kind of a fundamental legal question, saying, under the Utah Constitution, you can't have taxes issued by a non-elected board. That is essentially taxation without representation. So, there's some people that are pretty concerned just about the strange nature of these PIDs. It's like they're created by local governments, but they don't want to really be considered a government. At the same time, they can issue taxes. And at the same time, they're not like a normal taxing entity, right? Like, if like your local city is going to raise your taxes, like you hear a lot about it. There's a lot of input. People writing letters to the editor, things like that. But the way PIDs are created by the legislation is that the legislation says that, 100% of the property owners have to approve the PID. But what that means in reality is that if you're a developer and you own a big chunk of land, you are 100% of the property owner. So you approve the PID and you create the board. It's not elected by a local community. If the city or county approves it, then you, as the developer, you're creating that board, and then you're creating the people who all agree that a bond should be issued, and that those payments, those costs are going to get passed on to the people who buy into your development once it's completed.
Okay. I think I got the gist of what we want to get across to listeners. Is there anything else you want to add that you think is important to the story?
Yeah, I think it's important to consider, like I spoke with an attorney who represents some PIDs, and he says it's important to think about PIDs, as a success story, all this extra debt, he points out as a sign that hey, this is bringing in money and capital and investments to grow Utah communities that developers couldn't get before. And, one of the points he brings up is that, there's a lot of people in the development community who say it's harder to develop and you need extra financing tools when, we've got communities that have kind of like expanded away from like a city center. So it's not that easy to like hook up sewer and things like that. Like, so developers are like welcome to some, extra help to be able to, grow communities that we obviously need in Utah. So developers are saying that this is a really useful tool for helping to manage our explosive population growth.
That was Eric Peterson with the Utah Investigative Journalism Project. He also tells me that the power of the public infrastructure districts was a lot stronger before the last legislative session. Lawmakers passed some major reforms earlier this year, including things like forcing PIDs to dissolve after their projects complete, stopping them from jumping city and county lines, and requiring them to inform home buyers before they close on a property. Tuning to national news now, former FBI Director James Comey indicted again today by the Department of Justice. It comes over his photo of seashells that federal officials said threatened President Trump. That picture, showing shells spelled out 8647, supposedly a reference to killing President Trump. The president has been pushing for the DOJ to go after Comey, saying he was part of the Biden administration's push to weaponize the justice system against President Trump. Joining me now to go more in-depth on this developing story is KSL legal analyst Greg Skordas. And Greg, can you explain the second indictment for us?
Yeah, so there was a first indictment of Comey allegedly misleading Congress about Russian interference with the election, and that one was dismissed by a judge after it had been secured. This indictment involves Comey posting a picture that you just described of some seashells aligned to show the numbers 8647. And, of course, when somebody is 86, it usually means that they're fired or got rid of, and then 47 is the number of president that President Trump is right now. He's the 47th president. So 8647, I think a lot of people take as meaning, fired Donald Trump. Well, the Justice Department is taking that to mean kill Donald Trump or do some injury to Donald Trump. And so they've indicted Comey. We don't know what the exact charges are because they're still sealed, but they involve that post as some sort of a threat to the president.
Is the whole central part of the argument that Comey was threatening the president's life? I mean, how can they kind of prove that?
I'm quite certain, Heather, that they cannot. I mean, this is, and I've practiced for 44 years, this is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen. Nonetheless, a grand jury did issue the indictment, which means, 20 people thought that there was at least something there. But they would have to prove that this was a threat to kill the president in order to prevail with a jury of 12 in a federal court, and I don't see any way they could do that. But to answer your question, that's what the crime would be, threatening to kill the president of the United States.
And some have
particularly Donald Trump.
Yeah. This has been kind of called a double standard with the Department of Justice in recent years, that the Biden administration weaponized it originally, and now the Trump administration is doing the same thing. Can you kind of remind us what the relationship between the DOJ and the White House is supposed to be like?
Yeah, they're supposed to be independent, and usually you expect a president to appoint his attorney general and say, go solve crime, go prosecute crime, like we do here in Utah. The governor and the attorney general, while they may be from the same political party, they're both run independently and they're both elected independently. Nationally, the attorney general is nominated by the president and then approved by the Senate, but they're not necessarily the same. They're not necessarily supposed to be the same team. The Attorney General's office is supposed to work independent of the administration and prosecute crimes as they see making the most sense. And so when we talk about weaponizing the Department of Justice, what we're talking about is a president, whether it's Biden or Trump or whoever, using that body to do the president's own prosecution, the cases that he wants prosecuted. And that's what's being alleged here.
So where do you see this going? What's your prediction?
I cannot see in a million years a jury finding him guilty of this, but he's got to take it to a jury probably, unless a judge will just see through it and dismiss it like the judge did the last indictment against Comey. But, a lot of people have posted these very same numbers and in different contexts, and I don't know, I'm not aware of anyone ever being prosecuted for it, but 8647 has been used. If you go on Facebook, you'll see it posted several times. This one just happened to be by a person who probably foolishly shouldn't have posted it, and now is being charged with a crime that involves threatening the president's life.
All right, KSL legal analyst Greg Skordas, thanks again for joining us on this topic.
You bet.
All right, after the break, a few new transportation projects kicking off today, including the start of Utah's new statewide trail system. Details next, but first it's traffic on KSL News Radio, brought to you by UCCU. Build smart, save big with construction loans at UCCU. Ricky?
Delays in Davis County. It's due to a crash on northbound I-15 by Burton Lane going from Farmington into Kaysville. That right lane is blocked there by the Kaysville rest area, and as long as that right lane is blocked, these delays could continue to build and now stretch back to the Highway 89 split in Farmington. This Mother's Day, treat Mom to something unforgettable at The Roof with their brand new spring into summer brunch menu she'll love. Celebrate Mom in style above the heart of Salt Lake City. TheRoofSLC.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
My friend Joey means well.
Always remember that the early bird gathers no moss.
But he gets a little confused.
You know, you can't make a silk purse out of a wooden nickel.
Like Joey, many of us can be confused when it comes time to plan for retirement. When to take Social Security, how to use that 401k, what about the stock market, taxes, and Medicare? Todd Kim at Galileo Wealth Management can help to simplify retirement planning. His goal is to have you walk into retirement with confidence, not worry, and to address the number one concern among retirees today, the fear of running out of money. Call Galileo Wealth today for a no-cost, no-obligation meeting to talk about the details of your retirement. 385-247-7000. It's 385-247-7000 or online, GalileoWealth.com. And remember,
one man's trash is thicker than water. Of course, water's not thick at all. It's watery.
Join the Greenhouse Show May 2nd at Super Trees in Riverton. Utah's most unique trees, plants, potteries, and gifts for Mother's Day. New truckloads arrive weekly, plus get 10% off that day. Supertrees.com.
April is National Donate Life Month. Here in Utah, we're among the top in the nation for organ transplants, yet hundreds still wait for a second chance. The good news? You can help. Say yes to organ donation and save lives, even while you're still living. Intermountain Health encourages you to consider living organ donation. Also, update your wishes on your driver's license, your medical record, and share your decision with loved ones. Because when you choose to give life, it's not just their future, it's your life, your health.
Are you an adult with uncontrolled moderate to severe Crohn's disease symptoms and still packing a backup bag of clothes? Just in case? Skyrizi Risankizumab Riza can help you take control of your Crohn's. Feel significant symptom relief, including less abdominal pain and fewer bowel movements at 4 weeks. Plus, Skyrizi is proven to help people achieve remission and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Individual results may vary. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's. Ready to take control of your Crohn's? Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's disease.
Control is everything to me.
Learn more at skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI.
Does your home have peeling paint or faded colors? Don't procrastinate. You need to protect your home with quality paint and a worry-free process, so make an appointment with CertaPro Painters. You quickly get a free estimate that's detailed, easy to understand, and then their trusted local professionals will bring fresh color to your home with quality craftsmanship at the right price. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated, so schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. CertaPro.com.
Let me ask you a question. You have a best friend? How big would it shock you if somebody told you that your best friend just killed somebody?
911, what's your emergency? There's someone on every line saying they kidnapped my son, and they're demanding $500,000.
I've asked myself so many times, what in the world happened?
Ransom is available now. Listen at ransompodcast.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
This is Midday. I'm Heather Peterson, in for Maria Shilaos. Governor Spencer Cox and other state leaders kicking off the new Utah Trail Network today in Moab. When complete, the entire network of trails will connect the state with about 2,600 miles of new paved trails, plus 500 miles of existing trails. At an event this morning, the governor said the project came about because local leaders spoke up and made their voices heard.
Look, we have an amazing trail system all across the state. We're recognized throughout the western United States and really throughout the country as being one of the best states for active transportation. But there's a problem. Almost all of those trails exist in their own ecosystem. They don't connect to anywhere. So you can go someplace and you can ride for a few miles and have a great experience. But how incredible would it be if we very intentionally started to connect those trails together in a way that would lift the experience, not just for people who are visiting our state, but especially for the people who live here. When you talk to and survey citizens in our state, trails and outdoor recreation are at the top of all of their lists. People want to get outside. They want to spend time in the great outdoors. I mean, just look around us. How often do we take for granted that we live in a place? I just got back from Berlin and Zurich, and it's amazing to be in Switzerland, one of the most beautiful places on earth, and having people every day talk to me about Moab, Utah, which literally happened. I didn't bring it up. They said, "Oh, Utah, we love Moab. It's one of our favorite places." And I thought, wow, it turns out that Switzerland's one of my favorite places. I've never been here, but this is incredible. And we get to be here. We get to live here and be here every day. But look, people want government to deliver. People are losing trust in government because it hasn't met its obligations, especially the federal government, who can't do anything. Actually, they can do some stuff, but it's usually the wrong stuff. And so I'm grateful to live in a state where local officials, mayors, city councilmen, county commissioners, Commissioner Winfield, thank you for being here with us today. So many good people can work with state officials. Our state legislature, Carlos Praceres, our incredible UDOT team who is here with us, our UDOT commissioners, and work with the private sector, our developers, our builders who are in this state. We are a state of builders, and we can dream big and do big things that will make life better for the people who live here and better for future generations. And that's what this project is really all about.
The project in Moab is less than a mile long, but closes a key gap in the Colorado River Trail. Right now, bikers and pedestrians have to use the route without any protection from traffic. UDOT representatives say the idea behind the entire project is to connect communities in the same way that roads and highways do. Coming up at 2 o'clock, a woman involved in the killing of a Utah County Sheriff Sergeant 12 years ago being released on parole today. Stay with us.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
A signature gatherer now facing a slew of felonies over allegations that he forged names and signatures in the petition to repeal Utah's Proposition 4, which deals with the state's redistricting plans.
Investigators think this wasn't just a mistake, but a pattern. Chadwick Klutz is now facing 11 felony counts of forgery, along with 11 misdemeanor counts tied to signing petition sheets.
The time is 2 o'clock on Tuesday, April 28th. It's midday. I'm Heather Peterson. Maria Shilaos has the day off. Coming up, we'll get more details on how investigators uncovered the alleged fraud with KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera. Also this hour,
some people will have to haul water when they normally don't haul water. They'll have to sell cows when they want to hold on to it.
the ongoing drought prompting worries and concerns among Utah's agricultural communities. But first, our top stories. A Utah signature gatherer is now facing 11 felonies accused of forging names on petitions to repeal Prop 4. Detectives say the Uinta County clerk had concerns after reviewing petition packets where 165 out of 305 signatures were considered potentially fraudulent. Further investigation showed that Chadwick Klutz signed verification forms that certified he witnessed each signature, but in at least 2 cases, the names belonged to people who had already died. Prosecutors have now formally filed charges in 8th District Court. We'll continue to bring you the latest, including with Eric coming up. Our top national story from ABC News. Another indictment against former FBI Director James Comey over a deleted Instagram post from last year showing seashells spelling out 8647. The Justice Department claims the numbers allude to a threat made against President Trump, but ABC News legal contributor Brian Buckmeyer says federal prosecutors are stretching the legal definition of what constitutes a threat.
I would argue this is not a true threat. This does not fit the definition that what prosecutors are doing, and I think what is eventually going to happen is we're going to get the indictment, we're going to get the grand jury minutes, meaning what was said in the grand jury, and we're going to see how this is articulated as a threat, either from the person who sent it, the person who put the seashells down, or the person who interpreted it. And I don't think any form of interpretation is going to show that this is a true threat. That is a legal term. That is not like a colloquial term.
The first indictment against Comey was thrown out by a judge last year. Your money at this moment, the Dow is down 31 points, the S&P is down 35, and the NASDAQ also down at 223. Traffic and weather together brought to you by UCCU. Build smart, save big. UCCU. Love where you bank. Here's Ricky Meese.
In the Salt Lake City Sugar House area, we do have a crash westbound I-80 1300 East. It is out of traffic to the left. And we still have lingering slowdowns from an earlier accident northbound I-15 near Burton Lane going from Farmington into Kaysville up by the rest area. It had been blocking a right lane, backing traffic to the Highway 89 split. No matter the weather, your feet can feel fantastic. Find the Good Feet location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
A high of 60 in the forecast today with some clouds. Then temperatures start climbing upward. 65 tomorrow, 67 Thursday, 70 Friday, and then high 70s over the weekend. Right now, it's 55 and partly cloudy from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
I'm back to doing what I love and more. Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Do you want to walk, play pickleball, and enjoy other fun activities to stay healthy, but you can't because of bad feet? Hi, this is Mike, and the Good Feet store wants to help.
I just had difficulty walking. I tried them on in the store, and my foot felt so much better.
Do you keep buying new shoes and inserts with little or no relief?
I tried all kinds of shoes. It was the arch supports that made the difference from the Good Feet store.
Don't let bad feet, knees, or back problems get in the way of staying healthy and having fun.
Thanks to the Good Feet store, I'm bowling 3 nights a week.
Get back to doing what you love. At the Good Feet store, we'll personally fit you at high-quality arch supports to maximize your comfort. Stop in the Good Feet store or book your free fitting at goodfeet.com. We have locations in Farmington, Riverton, and Sandy.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Since 1947, Whipple Service Champions has been Utah's most trusted name for heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical services. Got a high-priced repair bill from another company and you're just not sure about it? Call Whipple. Get a free, no-pressure estimate or bring us their quote for an honest second opinion. Totally free. Whipple Service Champions, Utah's first place for second opinions since 1947. Call 385-273-7167 for your free estimate today. 385-273-7167.
Friday, join KSL News Radio and NPS from 10 to 1 as the movie show stops by. Then browse and uncover what makes NPS so great. With 4 locations, NPS takes a new inventory every day. Then they check all competitors' retail pricing before marking items down 20 to 70% off. So you're invited to visit the movie show Friday 10 to 1. And that's the first step to discovering NPS. Visit npsstore.com to begin your own NPS adventure. npsstore.com.
Thanks for tuning in to Midday. I'm Heather Peterson, sitting in for Maria Shilaos. Dozens of potentially fake signatures, including names of the dead. That's what investigators say they found tied to a petition effort in eastern Utah. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera has been going through court documents we've obtained, and he joins us now live. Eric, what's going on here?
Heather, this really comes down to trust in the process. So, investigators in Uinta County say during routine checks of petition signatures, they started noticing things didn't look right. So, they took a closer look, and that's when this turned into a criminal investigation. According to those court documents, they believe Chadwick Klutz was forging signatures on petition packets. We're talking about people whose names showed up, but when investigators reached out to those people, they said, that's not my signature, or they said, I never signed anything. And even in a couple of the cases, the names actually belonged to people who had already died before the signatures were dated.
Wow. So, how widespread is this problem?
Right. So it's pretty significant according to investigators. They looked at more than 300 signatures tied to Klutz, and they say about 165 of them were potentially fraudulent. So it's about roughly half, which is what raised those red flags in the first place.
And this is just more than bad paperwork, right? There's criminal charges involved.
Exactly. So prosecutors have now charged him with 11 counts of forgery, which are felonies, and 11 additional misdemeanor counts tied to those, or excuse me, tied to how those petition sheets were signed and verified. One key piece here also is that every signature packet has a verification at the end where the gatherer signs saying they personally watched each person sign. And investigators say that certification wasn't true in these cases, and that's a big part of the charges.
And zooming out here, Eric, why does this matter to people listening?
Sure, this is really about, protecting, the integrity of how petitions work, because no matter what the issue is, the system relies on those signatures being real, verified voters. So when something like this pops up, it's, designed to get flagged and investigated and, if needed, charged. And that's exactly like we're seeing here.
All right, thank you so much. That was KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera joining us live. Tuning now to water news, state water officials are trying to find ways to reduce the number of harmful algal blooms that tend to form in Utah's lakes and reservoirs each summer when water levels drop. Today, they unveiled some new technology that'll hopefully help. KSL News Radio's Adam Small explains how it works.
The mixture they're putting into the waters of Willard Peak Pond to start is called lanthanum-modified bentonite. It's a mix of natural ingredients that binds phosphorus to the sediment at the bottom of the pond. Why does that matter? Because scientists say phosphorus is one of the key ingredients harmful algae needs to live. And with all the phosphorus this pond sediment produces, it's likely a big reason why we've seen so many harmful algal blooms here in the past.
Candace Hassenjager is the director with the Utah Division of Water Quality. She says this new technology could be a real game changer.
It's exciting, right? Harmful algal blooms happen in Utah, and we really use the tools of vigilance and education to know when they're happening, to measure and monitor them. So to move from something that's more reactive to be able to be proactive, it's an exciting possibility. This is a great demonstration at Willard Peak Pond of the potential of how it works and how effective it is.
She tells KSL that they're already looking at the next body of water to test this technology in.
I think there's a real possibility that this will expand. The legislature appropriated a small amount of money to go to Manaway Reservoir for an additional demonstration type project. We're trying to still figure those things out. I think there is potential around Utah Lake. Utah Lake has had harmful algal blooms in the past and will have them in the future. And so if there's ways to address it, it will be tricky because Utah Lake is significantly bigger and just more challenging with all the number of entities that are involved in it.
She says nothing's set in stone just yet, but if it works well in the first year, then it's very promising that it could expand. State water leaders voicing more concerns today over the state of the drought here in Utah. In a typical year, Utah's runoff, which refills our reservoirs, would just be getting underway. But due to record low snowpack and record high temperatures already this spring season, peak runoff has already come and gone. Larger reservoirs in the state with several years of water storage are doing okay, but smaller reservoirs with only 1 or 2 years of water storage or capacity are struggling.
Because of these increased temperatures, we saw this year our average temperature was 3 degrees warmer than normal. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, but 3 degrees is significant because all of a sudden you're crossing the threshold where snow won't accumulate, it's going to melt. And that led to earlier than normal runoff, and it led to some significant challenges associated with our snowpack and the snow water equivalent in our snowpack. So even today, we have the absolute lowest record of snow water equivalent on, or the lowest amount of snow water equivalent on record. April 1st snowpack was just 2.7 inches of snow water equivalent. Normally, it's 14.2.
Utah Department of Natural Resources Executive Director Joel Ferry spoke this morning about the concerns state officials see as we move into the summer.
In the past, this is what's crazy, guys. In the past 5 years, we have seen the largest snow water equivalent on record, and now we've seen the smallest. And so when we look at this, these are wild swings, wild fluctuations that are very, very difficult for us to deal with. And when you look back historically, water years like the Dust Bowl 1934, back in the late 70s, 1977 was a really dry year. Even 2018, these were all previous record low snowpacks. And this blows all of those out of the water. This is that much worse. And so we are truly in uncharted territory.
Commissioner Kelly Pearson from the Utah Department of Agriculture says his team has been out around the state talking with farmers and ranchers about the drought and how it could affect their operations.
As Director Ferry said, in the last 5 years, we have just absolutely had no consistency in weather. And it's hard as an ag producer to plan for the future when you don't get 2 years in a row of consistent weather. So they're very worried about their operations. They'll have to make big decisions in the next little bit. Some people will have to haul water when they normally don't haul water. They'll have to buy hay when they normally don't have to buy hay. And some people will have to sell cows when they want to hold on to it. So there's big decisions that have to be made on their operations. And we just went around to share hope that we have programs at the state. Not only state, but our state and federal partners have great programs that can help them through this. And we're ready to do that.
Director Ferry ended the conversation today by promising to provide continued, frequent updates on water levels so that everyone can play their part in getting through the current drought. You can find updates and more information online at slowtheflow.org. More on Utah's dwindling snowpack coming up in just 60 seconds.
I'm here with Monty from Connecticut Quality Water Systems of Salt Lake, an authorized independent dealer. So, Monty, I wonder if you know someone like this. He's the ultimate DIY guy. Restores classic cars, builds his own deck, and even smokes his own brisket.
Sounds like a talented guy.
He is. But get this, his other weekend hobby is troubleshooting his water softener. He's always down there resetting the timer or fiddling with the circuit board.
See, Doug, that's where I draw the line. Smoking a brisket is a great weekend project.
Yeah.
Fixing an electric water softener is just a chore.
Exactly. He thinks he's saved money by buying the bargain brand, but he's paying for it with his Saturdays.
That's the Connecticut difference. Our systems are premium because they are non-electric and fully automated. No computers to fry, no timers to reset. We install it and you get back to the hobbies you actually enjoy.
If you want soft water, do what I did and leave that to Connecticut. It runs on water power, not willpower. Learn more at softwaterutah.com. That's softwaterutah.com.
Utah's record low snowpack having major impacts on everything from tourism to agriculture. Local water leaders had a panel discussion Monday on how they can move forward after such a detrimental winter season. The discussion was hosted by the Great Salt Lake Alliance. I spoke with their executive director, Lindsay Smith, who said a major talking point was how much a low water year impacts the state's economy.
Our natural resources and our economic prosperity, they are tied together. We can't separate these two things. So when we are dealing with water, air quality, etc., it all has an impact on our quality of life, the economy, and how we enjoy our lives here in Utah moving forward. So looking at the economic impacts matters, so that we understand the costs, both hidden costs and real costs of living in a world in which we have to be ever more careful with water.
For example, she said they had representatives from the ski industry talking about what a rough year they had.
They opened later, closed earlier. This has economic impacts for the resorts, for the communities that host these resorts. And, they're from their employees to tourism, the economic impacts add up.
And that lack of snow problem has now become a lack of water problem, affecting other industries like agriculture.
Our producers are having to make really tough decisions themselves about how to use this precious resource, how best to manage their land, their animals, their crops in a way that pays attention to the costs, the big picture of water, and how to adapt to this type of water situation.
But these local representatives didn't just talk about the problems yesterday. They talked about how does Utah move forward after a year like this?
We have to plan on lower water availability and adjust, right? We have to figure out how we adapt, mitigate, and move forward without stirring in the idea that, well, hey, we could have a wet year in a couple of years. That may very well happen, but we have to plan in a way that manages for these low water years.
And a big part of that is everyone doing their part to radically conserve water.
Every little bit really does help. And for those of us that live in urban landscapes, our outdoor water use is really where our water waste happens. And so as we move into the summer, being cognizant about not turning on your sprinklers early, knowing how much water your landscape really does need, and understanding when your plants are starting to not need as much water. We tend to water all the way into the fall, and our plants really don't need irrigation at that time. So again, like understanding the need versus how much we're using is really, really important.
That was Great Salt Lake Alliance Executive Director Lindsay Smith recapping for us yesterday's discussion about the impacts of Utah's record low snowpack. In just a few minutes, we'll get updates on the ongoing investigation into the alleged assassination attempt on President Trump on Saturday. That's coming up after the break. But first, it's traffic on KSL News Radio, brought to you by UCCU. Earn 4.24% on savings at uccu.com. Ricky?
We have 2 crashes on southbound I-15, one in Salt Lake County at 53rd South in Murray, out of traffic on the left, and one in Utah County, southbound I-15 near University Parkway. Orem also moved out of traffic to the side. Common Spirit hospitals, clinics, and caregivers, all connected to advanced health care in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Healthcare with human kindness is here. Hello, human kindness. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Progressive presents a guided meditation.
Hear the birds sing, a chipmunk nibbling on an acorn. Smell the pine needles gently falling into your living room as the breeze blows through the gaping hole in your roof. Gaze up at that broken tree branch and relax, because you bundled your home and auto with Progressive and have the peace of mind of 24/7 protection. So relaxing.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Are you looking for a fun way to get your kids outside and off their screens this spring? Try flower gardening. Starting a beautiful flower bed or easy container garden is a great hands-on way to spend quality time together while teaching kids about nature. They'll love digging in the dirt, picking out their favorite flowers, and watching them bloom, all while making real, lasting memories. Plus, gardening is a great way to slow down, soak up some sunshine, and enjoy the fresh air as a family. This is Brian with Olson's Greenhouse, and my family has been growing flowers with care for 4 generations right here in Utah. Whether you have a big sunny backyard or just a small shady front porch, our colorful locally grown flowers make it easy to add beauty to your home. So this spring, start with a new family tradition, one that grows with your kids. Get inspiration at Olson's Greenhouse Gardens on Instagram or find a garden center near you at ogg.com. That's ogg.com for Olson's Greenhouse Gardens.
Cracked glass. If you drive, you've likely taken a hit.
It's getting to be a bigger problem every year. Rock hits right here.
But when that crack might have been prevented,
I saw the mud flaps all but worn off.
Does the law protect you?
They bank on the fact that no one's going to pursue them.
Could you pull this person over?
Yeah, I could.
I'll investigate why you could still be paying for that repair and what it takes to get rock chip justice. Tonight at 10 on KSL.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-292-4541 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-292-4541. That's 800-292-4541. What do you have to lose? Call 800-292-4541. Again, 800-292-4541.
Before a disaster turns your family's world upside down, it's up to you to be ready. Get a kit. Make a plan. Be informed. Learn how at www.ready.gov. Brought to you by the Federal Emergency Management Agency and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Midday. I'm Heather Peterson. Maria Shilaos has the day off. Federal investigators now expanding their search into the background of the man accused of attempting to shoot President Donald Trump at the White House Correspondents' Dinner on Saturday. News Nation's Marnie Hughes has more.
Cole Allen's phone records now and also his online search history to see if he had any help with his plan. Monday, he was in court and got some heavy federal charges, including attempted assassination of the president and assault on a federal officer. A dark manifesto sent to the suspect's family reveals a hit list of top officials. The FBI is hunting for clues. The White House is blaming the act on vile political rhetoric.
Allen declined to enter a plea on Monday. A detention hearing is set for this Thursday with a preliminary hearing set for May. Even as officials insist that law enforcement did not fail on Saturday night, the Justice Department says the alleged would-be assassin at the White House Correspondents' Dinner came horrifically close. That coming in a new court filing that lays out a new argument for the White House ballroom. ABC's chief White House correspondent Mary Bruce has more on the renewed push for greater security for President Trump.
After what officials say was a third attempt on President Trump's life in just 2 years, the White House set to huddle with top Secret Service and Homeland Security officials. Trump's chief of staff, Susie Wiles, calling the meeting this week to, quote, discuss protocol and practices for major events, according to a senior official. The White House is standing by the Secret Service, commending their quick work rushing President Trump off stage.
Law enforcement did not fail. They did exactly what they are trained to do.
Some 2,600 guests were packed into the ballroom at the Washington Hilton Saturday night for the annual White House Correspondents' Dinner, including members of the press, lawmakers, and most of the presidential line of succession. This virtual view of the hotel shows where the agents stopped that would-be gunman before he was able to race down this staircase and gain access to the ballroom one floor below. Shortly after the incident, Trump insisting to reporters back at the White House that this would not impact his attendance at large events, even though the 2024 assassination attempt at a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, caused him to limit his attendance at outdoor events.
Do you think that you now need to rethink indoor?
Well, but then you just don't do events. No, I can't do that. I have to
It is what it is. We have to do it.
But the White House now says changes to Trump's security posture are possible.
I definitely wouldn't say changes are out of the question.
Trump has repeatedly used the attack to justify the construction of his massive ballroom, arguing this is why they need this kind of secure space on White House grounds. This morning, Senate Republicans now heeding his calls, unveiling a bill to provide $400 million in mostly taxpayer money to fund the project, which Trump has insisted would be paid for by private donations. And this morning, senior Justice Department leadership is demanding a federal judge allow construction of the ballroom to continue. In an extraordinary filing that reads more like a litany of Trump's social media posts, the DOJ officials say that a secure space for the president to attend large events in Washington currently doesn't exist, and they accuse the plaintiffs of having, quote, Trump derangement syndrome.
Chief White House correspondent for ABC News Mary Bruce reporting. The White House said they didn't have a designated survivor for the event because some members of the cabinet were simply not in attendance at the dinner in the first place. A longtime member of the oil cartel, OPEC, announced it's leaving the group. News Nation's Anna Koyman reports.
The United Arab Emirates announcing it's leaving the OPEC oil cartel effective Friday. The UAE says it's evolving its energy profile, including investing heavily in domestic energy production. Iran had been targeting the UAE and other Middle Eastern oil giants in retaliation for U.S. strikes. No word yet from the rest of OPEC on that decision.
Director of the Harvey Peace Institute at Utah State University, Dr. Austin Nuppy, joined Inside Sources today to explain how OPEC came about and the relevance it holds today.
Yeah, so OPEC started in the early 1960s as a way to form basically a cartel of petroleum exporting countries to give them more leverage economically and politically. The last time you really saw OPEC play a significant political role was in the mid-1970s during the oil crisis. You had an Israeli war as well, Jimmy Carter, right, all that. So that OPEC really affected U.S. foreign policy and shaped Gulf politics. You're seeing the same things now. I suspect that what the Emirates is trying to do is to wrestle back some leverage from Iran in terms of Iran being able to drive up both directly and indirectly energy prices around the world and really put pressure on the U.S. and its allies. So we're seeing OPEC play a political role once again, which is not uncommon.
He says the war in Iran could play an effect in this decision, but also says this isn't the first time this kind of disagreement has happened.
I think it's primarily aimed at Iran, and with the encouragement of the U.S., certainly. You know, the Gulf states have collective interests, but they're also independent sovereign nations that have regional disagreements. So you saw there's a Gulf Cooperation Council diplomatic dispute in 2017 or 2018 where all the Gulf states were basically picking on Qatar. So the fact that they're all Arab Sunni monarchies doesn't mean they have the same national interests or aspirations for the region. So the fact that you have disagreements, even if they're subtle, between Saudi and Emirates is not all that surprising.
The UAE had been a longtime member of OPEC, first through its Emirati of Abu Dhabi in 1967, and later when the UAE became its own country in 1971. ABC's Elizabeth Schulze says the news sent oil markets reeling, sending prices at the pump even higher.
This is sending oil prices notably higher. We now have oil above $100 a barrel. And when you think about the impact of that on consumers and businesses, gas prices have been going up now at the fastest pace in the last 24 hours. In one of the fastest pace on record. This is the biggest 24-hour increase, sixth biggest in history.
Today, the price for a gallon of gas hit its highest levels in 4 years, with a national average of $4.17 per gallon of regular unleaded gasoline. It's 2:30, midday at KSL News Radio. Hello, I'm Heather Peterson in for Maria Shilaos. Some of the stories we're watching this hour. The woman involved in the murder of a Utah County sergeant set to be released on parole day. The message from the fallen sergeant's widow and KSL traffic.
Traffic building Murray to Midvale. Heather?
Right now, 55 in Salt Lake City. But first, before we get to top local stories, we're going to get to your national stories.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. A rare speech by King Charles today addressing both chambers of Congress.
Mr. Speaker. Speaking to a packed chamber, King Charles prompted bipartisan laughter as he reflected on America's founding 250 years ago. Or, as we say
in the United Kingdom just the other day.
The king also saw members of both parties in the House and Senate standing to applaud his call to defend Ukraine. Charles said America's words have carried weight and meaning since independence.
The actions of this great nation matter even more.
Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
Former FBI Director James Comey indicted again by a grand jury, this time for an Instagram post last year showing shells on the beach in the formation of 8647. Prosecutors alleged the slang 86 means to nix or get rid of and was a veiled threat against President Trump. Talks between the U.S. and Iran remain stalled over the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz, and gas prices in the U.S. soaring to their highest in 4 years. This is ABC News.
KSL's top local story, Utah water officials are trying out a new technology that'll hopefully reduce the number of harmful algal blooms that form on some of our lakes this summer. KSL News Radio's Adam Small has more from the Willard Bay Reservoir.
One of the biggest reasons Willard Peak Pond, right here next to the main reservoir, has struggled with harmful algal blooms in the past is because of how much phosphorus its sediment produces. That phosphorus is a key ingredient algae needs to live. Well, now the state is partnering with a group of scientists to attack that problem at its source.
Most of the work that I have done up until working for Utrifix was predicting these blooms. Let's just figure out when they're going to happen. And then, okay, we put up the signs, don't go in the water body. But we're kind of in this place where that's not acceptable anymore.
Dr. Alexis Fisher is a water quality specialist with Utrifix. She says the natural ingredients they're dropping into the pond binds that stubborn phosphorus to the lake sediment so it won't rise to the surface and feed harmful algae anymore. Water managers say this same treatment could potentially be used to treat other lakes in the state as well, but nothing is set in stone yet. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Other local stories KSL is following. State health officials say babies 6 months to a year old should receive an early extra measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine. The warning comes as Utah reports more than 600 cases of measles since the start of the outbreak in 2025. The measles virus can linger in a room for up to 2 hours, and it can be a week before skin lesions even show up. Your money at this moment, the Dow is down 25 points, the S&P is down 35, and the NASDAQ is down 223 points. Traffic and weather together brought to you by UCCU. Build smart, save big with construction loans at UCCU. Ricky?
Traffic already filling in and slowing down southbound I-15 going from Murray at the South Interchange through Midvale. Turn everyday spaces into blooms of beauty with Olson's Greenhouse. Locally grown premium flowers designed for porches, patios, and containers. Learn more at OGG.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Some nice spring weather ahead this week. We're looking at some clouds and a high of 60 today. More of the same, but in the mid-60s Wednesday, Thursday. Then we get up to 70 by Friday. Right now it's 56 and partly cloudy at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Right now, water heaters are on sale at Any Hour Services. Schedule a free estimate today to see how much you'll save. Google Any Hour Services or schedule online at anyhourservices.com.
We're taking you now to some breaking news. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche is talking about the indictment of James Comey. Let's listen in.
Never tolerate, and that we will always investigate and regularly prosecute. I want to take a moment to thank the hardworking members of the FBI who investigated this case over the past 11 months or so, the United States Secret Service who also assisted in this investigation, and the United States Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of North Carolina, led by United States Attorney Ellis Boyle, who's standing to my right. This was an investigation that remains ongoing. That's been ongoing for about a year, and that's all we're going to say about it today. I will let the U.S. Attorney Boyle speak now, and then after that, Director Patel. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Attorney General. Earlier today, a grand jury in the Eastern District of North Carolina returned a true bill indicting Mr. James Comey with committing 2 felonies. Count 1, he knowingly and willfully made a threat to kill and to inflict bodily harm upon the President of the United States in violation of 18 U.S.C. 871A. Count 2, he knowingly and willfully transmitted in interstate and foreign commerce a communication that contained a threat to kill President Trump in violation of 18 U.S.C. 875C. Mr. Comey will be given every form of due process all citizens are entitled to receive, to include a trial by a jury of his peers. In the Eastern District of North Carolina, it doesn't matter who you are. We take all threat cases seriously and prosecute anyone who violates federal law, regardless of title or status. Thank you.
Thank you. As you heard from the Attorney General and the U.S. Attorney, former FBI Director James Comey has now been indicted for 2 felony counts. While many of you may read this indictment and view this matter as a simple investigation, it is the farthest thing from that. Every single investigation this FBI and our partners at the Department of Justice undertake, especially those that involve the threats to harm or hurt or even kill individuals, whether they hold public office or civilians in our country, are met with the same measure of investigative prowess and tools and personnel in partnership with the Department of Justice as anyone else. As the U.S. Attorney indicated, James Comey will be afforded every matter of due process under the United States Constitution. And as the Attorney General indicated, this has been a case that's been investigated over the past 9, 10, 11 months. These cases take time. Our investigators work methodically. They are career agents, career prosecutors who work these matters. They call the balls and strikes in the field as they see fit, pursuant to the facts of the case and the law. They took that information and made a presentment to a grand jury, a jury of peers in the district in which the alleged crime took place. And that grand jury spoke, and that grand jury returned a 2-count indictment against James Comey. James Comey allegedly threatened the life of the President of the United States. And as you all now know, shortly after posting that threat, he deleted that threat and then issued an apology. All of that information was presented to the grand jury, and Mr. Comey will have his day in court and his ability to speak to a jury of his peers. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll just take a couple of questions.
Mr. Attorney General,
You've been listening to a Department of Justice press conference on the indictment of 2 felony counts against former FBI Director James Comey. They've been alleging that he threatened the president's life by posting on social media the 8647 post in Seychelles. We'll continue to follow this story throughout the day.
Did you know Utah State University is home to one of the nation's leading centers for disability research and advocacy? At the Institute for Disability Research Policy and Practice, we work side by side with Utahns with disabilities, their families, and community partners to make our state more accessible and inclusive for everyone. Our researchers, educators, and advocates partner with family service providers and policymakers to create real lasting change. We believe that everyone deserves a chance to live, learn, work, and play in our communities. From helping children reach their potential in early intervention programs, to building accessible technologies, to improving mental health and employment supports, our work touches every corner of the state. The Institute for Disability Research, Policy, and Practice is the only disability-focused research center in the state of Utah. That means we're Utah's home for innovation, data-driven policy, and community solutions that make life better for people with disabilities. Find us at idrpp.usu.edu.
Progressive's Accident Response can detect and send help when you need it most, after a major car accident. But other accidents, you're on your own. Like when you accidentally call your wife Mom. When you accidentally say Happy Holidays on someone's birthday. When you accidentally wave at someone you thought was waving at you. We can't help with those accidents, but Progressive's Accident Response provides peace of mind after major car accidents. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Limited availability in California. Driver is responsible for emergency and towing charges not covered by the policy.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You're listening to Midday. I'm Heather Peterson, in for Maria Shilaos. A woman involved in the deadly shooting of Utah County Sheriff's Deputy Corey Ride will leave prison today on parole after spending 12 years behind bars. In 2014, Sergeant Ride was shot and killed while assisting two people in a disabled pickup truck between Eagle Mountain and Cedar Fort. Megan Dakota Grunwald was 17 years old at the time and the driver of that vehicle. During the assist, her boyfriend and the passenger in the car, Jose Angel Garcia Haraguay, pulled out a 9mm gun and fatally shot Sergeant Ride. The two fled the scene, which ended near Santaquin. Jose was shot by police and died the following day. Megan was convicted of manslaughter. Her release today, prompting a wave of emotions from the widow of Sergeant Ride, Nanette Ride Zeman. She spoke earlier this year with KSL News Radio's Cameron Elliott and told him she actually advocated for Megan's release today.
I think she's a very different person from that Megan that we met with where she took the plea deal. I've been to her parole hearings, and right before it happened, I had the opportunity to be able to go meet with her for 3.5 hours. We spoke face to face for the very first time since Corey's murder, and there was a lot of understanding that happened. There was a lot of, she got to know who Corey really was, and she understood without a shadow of a doubt that she could have done things differently. And he probably wouldn't have had to die, or at least he would have died fighting for her rather than being ambushed like he was. And she had stated that in her parole hearing. And I think that was a big shift. But I'm very healing because I didn't want to keep going to parole hearings. I didn't want to keep, worrying if she was going to make right choices or whatever. And I told her I was at peace and that I felt like I was going to be her biggest cheerleader. I want her to find her happy like I found mine. And she's been in there since she was 17 years old, and she deserves a chance to be able to find her happy and most of all, learn to fall in love with herself. And I don't think that she's had that. She's been in survival mode, in prison. And I'm happy for her. I really am going to be rooting for her. Her and I will be keeping in touch with each other through her parole agent. And I'm behind it 100%. And I'm really grateful for the immense healing that was able to happen during that conversation.
Nanette says the feelings she felt when she was able to forgive Megan were hard to describe.
The best way I can explain the feeling is it feels like my soul has wings. I'm not weighed down anymore. I'm not depressed. I don't go over all of those things in my head anymore. I've shifted, but the thing is, it's taken a long time. It wasn't like a light switch, you know what I mean? It's taken a lot of work to heal this and to be able to get to the point where I was ready to meet her face to face. And when I finally did meet her face to face, she stood in the holding cell part and was afraid to come in to see me. And she was sobbing. When she came in, she had her hands over her face. And I said, look at me. And she put her hands down and she's just sobbing. And she looked at me and I said, I'm not scary. Like, don't be afraid of me. We're here to heal.
She says it took time and was definitely a process, but being able to forgive and move forward has brought her true, lasting peace.
I went through all of the anger, I wish she were dead, all the things, all of the things over the years. And I found that in my healing journey that it has, holding that kind of stuff never ever hurts anybody but me, and being able to free myself of having to have that regardless of what her choices are going forward, it is really a gift to me. But like I said, it didn't come easy and it wasn't a light switch. It was a constant working on this. And like every single time I would get, a letter and, oh, it's a parole hearing. Like, are you kidding me? We just did the plea deal last year. Now she's up for parole. I thought she was supposed to be in for 4 more years or, and there is no justice in the justice system. So I don't have control over what happens in that system, but I do have control over what happens in my system. And so I was like, well, I can either live the rest of my life and be this bitter old widow, or I can I can see things for what they are, and I can try to understand where she's coming from and then make my decision for the parole hearing. And like, if she weren't where she's at, she's done a lot of work in there and a lot of good things. She was helping people get their GEDs. She was tutoring people. She has gained a lot of skills, and she has a couple of associate's degrees. Like, the girl hasn't sat there. Like, she's done amazing things, and she got to share those things with me. And she also listened with her heart. And if she wasn't that person, I think my recommendation to the parole board would have been very different. And I would have been disappointed, but I wouldn't have hated her or been angry anymore. It was just a matter of that face-to-face was just magic.
Nanette Ride-Zeman is the widow of Sergeant Corey Ride, who was killed in the line of duty 12 years ago. The woman involved in his murder, Megan Grunwald, set to be released on parole sometime today. Midday continues in just 60 seconds.
Hi, it's Greg Skordas, and for years and years, I'd maintained the same weight until I hit 60, and then it started piling on. I don't know why. I could not get that weight to come off. So I contacted SOTA, and I said, look, I need to lose between 20 and 30 pounds. They said, sign up, and so I did. There's no pills, there's no injections, it's just food. I have a nutritionist who helps me, and I told her, look, I can't even wear some of the suits I used to wear. Well, after the first week, I lost 8 pounds. After the second week, I'd lost over 10 pounds. I'm starting to be able to put some of my suits on. I'm starting to be able to put my belt on like I hadn't before. I'm back on the bicycle again. I'm getting outside again, and I'm doing the activities that I did when I was 40 years old. Having my wife join me was great because you can join now and your partner joins for free. That's right, 2 people for the price of 1. SOTADietNutrition.com. It's a great program. It's worked for me. It'll work for you. SOTA, as in state of the art. SOTADietNutrition.com. SOTA Weight Loss. Join them for a short time to have results that last a lifetime.
Florida Republican Governor Ron DeSantis now asking state lawmakers to push through a congressional map that dramatically favors Republicans. But ABC News political reporter Orrin Oppenheim says the governor insists the move has nothing to do with adding more GOP seats in Congress.
Yesterday, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis unveiled a new proposed congressional map that his office indicates could allow Republicans to flip up to 4 seats in the U.S. House of Representatives. DeSantis doesn't say it's about gaining more seats for Republicans. He said it's about fairness for the state's population. He says the state's population has grown. It wasn't fairly apportioned in the census. He sent it to the state legislature yesterday, and starting today, the legislature is scheduled to be in a special session where it's going to move through the different chambers, and it's likely to pass. But then it's also likely to face legal challenges from Democrats who say it flies in the face of rules Florida has in place already.
We've talked about redistricting issues both here and around the country in the last year, with many states looking to make changes ahead of the midterm elections. But what makes the Florida case any different than the cases in Texas, California, or Virginia?
It's a bit unique because Florida voters already approved in 2010 what are called the Fair Districts Amendments. They're basically amendments to Florida's state constitution that say that, quote, no apportionment plan or individual district shall be drawn with the intent to favor or disfavor a political party or an incumbent, end quote. And legal experts say this basically stops Florida Republicans who control the legislature from drawing or implementing a new congressional map that would be openly meant to benefit one political party.
We worked on map last time, can do it again. So that will be done one way or another.
DeSantis, for his part, has been very careful about how he's discussed the map. He said that this is about representation and about how many voters are apportioned to which districts. He hasn't said it's about helping Republicans.
Virginia is doing so. I have no idea where that came from. I have no idea what the relevance of Virginia is to anything we're doing.
And then his general counsel, in a letter to the legislature that was sent yesterday, also argued that these amendments to the Florida state constitutional are unconstitutional in and of themselves and thinks that they're not valid provisions. So in some ways, this map is also a challenge to the amendments that voters approved in Florida. But it is something different that voters in Virginia and the Virginia legislature didn't have to contend, although that map is also dealing with a lot of legal challenges, mainly due to how Democrats passed it to the ballot.
Are there any risks for Republicans in Florida should they move ahead with these new maps?
From what we can tell, there hasn't been a ton of opposition within the legislature to this potential plan, although Florida Republican legislators have a bit of a strange and complex relationship with DeSantis right now. That said, there is a lot of political risk for DeSantis and for Republicans more broadly, and some Republican members of Congress have been saying openly that they don't want Florida to redistrict because Florida's map, given how it's already drawn, redrawing any lines may make some Republican incumbents more vulnerable. And in a year where Democrats are overperforming or even flipping seats in Florida's legislature in some special elections, including one where Democrats flipped the seat that includes President Donald Trump's home district of Mar-a-Lago, and also where we're seeing Hispanic voters often going back to the Democratic Party after previously voting for Republicans, and Hispanic voters are a major bloc in Florida.
U.S. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries is more bullish about the new proposed maps, saying he's confident it could actually help Democrats pick up 3 to 5 additional seats. After the break, one woman from Massachusetts sentenced to jail for using bees as a weapon back in 2022. How does that work? Details coming up next. But first, it's traffic on KSL News Radio, brought to you by UCCU. Build smart, save big. UCCU, love where you bank. Ricky?
We have a crash in Davis County at Gentile Street and Fort Lane. That's near the Dollar Tree, not far from the I-15 junction. And then a crash in West Jordan, Bangerter Highway and 90th South. With nutrients blended for greener, healthier turf in our local soil, IFA's 4+ Lawn Care program is the ultimate lawn owner power move. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
A mother's love doesn't always look the same. It's in the woman who raised you, the one who chose you, the one who stepped in when you needed it most. It's in grandmothers, sisters, mentors, and the women who show up again and again with love, strength, and grace. This Mother's Day, Duke's Jewelers celebrates all of them. At Duke's Jewelers, they believe women who shape our lives deserve something just as meaningful as the love they give. Something timeless, personal, and filled with heart. From classic diamonds to one-of-a-kind designs, every piece is chosen to honor her story and yours. A piece she'll wear every day and think of you. Join Duke's Jewelers this Mother's Day and enjoy a complimentary rose with any jewelry purchase while supplies last. Because every kind of mom deserves to feel seen, celebrated, and loved. Visit Duke's Jewelers on Main Street in Springville and at dukesjewelers.com.
Gold demand is skyrocketing to record highs. As more Americans rush to preserve their savings, will there be enough gold? I'm Dr. Ron Paul, and I believe physical gold is the only way to truly protect your 401k or IRA savings. Gold offers tangible security that can't be tracked, stolen, or inflated. That's why I strongly advocate for gold IRAs. To learn more, text the word SECURE to 989898 now. Birch Gold Group will send you a free info kit on gold IRAs. Birch Gold is the only gold company I trust, and their thousands of great reviews prove I'm not alone. So don't wait another second. Protect your retirement savings today and see how easy it is to move your IRA or 401k into physical precious metals. Text SECURE to the number 989898 for your free gold IRA info kit. Again, SECURE to 989898.
Message and data rates may apply.
My friend Joey loves to use old familiar sayings.
You know what they say.
The problem is,
don't look at a gift horse because you can't make them drink.
He gets a lot of them mixed up.
People who live in glass houses.
Here it comes.
Shouldn't cry over spilt milk.
There are also a lot of sayings in the financial world, like, you'll pay lower taxes in retirement. But for many people, it's just not true. You may have done a great job saving in that 401k or IRA, but Uncle Sam is ready to grab a big portion of that money. The team at Galileo Wealth Management can help with strategies that you can start now to lower your tax bill in the future. More for you and less for Uncle Sam.
Or as they say, an apple a day is worth 2 in the bush.
Get the facts on your tax bill in retirement. Call Galileo Wealth today at 385-247-7000. It's 385-247-7000 or online at GalileoWealth.com.
And remember, a stitch in time keeps the doctor away. It does, you know.
If you're struggling with your mortgage, there's a free government program that offers expert one-on-one advice about your mortgage options. Call 1-888-995-HOPE or visit makinghomeaffordable.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Treasury, HUD, and the Ad Council.
This is Midday. I'm Heather Peterson in for Maria Shilaos. Bees have always been a little dangerous, but now they may actually be considered a weapon.
Launch position! Buzz, 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 buzz. Black and yellow! Yellow!
Wind. Check.
Antenna. Check. Nectar pack. Check. Wing. Check. Stinger. Check.
A little clip from the bee movie there. Well, now a court in Massachusetts is buzzing about how using bees as a weapon is considered assault.
You ever get followed by a bee? Like, I'm not even scared of bees necessarily, but sometimes it does feel like a bee is hunting you. It's like a heat-seeking missile. Well, now imagine its leader had just sicked an entire swarm on you. That's what police thought was happening here.
Hey, 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 hey!
This is body cam footage from Longmeadow, Massachusetts, posted by Mass Live when law enforcement were trying to serve an eviction notice. As is often the case in situations like this, things got heated, but while things are being sorted out, someone has also driven a trailer into the driveway. You can hear a commotion and someone shouting,
Hey, 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 she's got a truck full of bees.
She's got a truck full of bees. Apparently, a woman who was not living there had arrived to protest this eviction, hauling several beehives stacked on a trailer. You can see her tussling with a deputy, then tipping a hive over, setting a swarm loose. Our affiliate WCVB spoke to the Hampden County Sheriff's Office, which is still buzzing about all this.
And when the bees pulled up, there's no turn into page 50 to say, hey, this is what you do when this happens.
Eventually, they arrested Rebecca Woods. This all happened a few years ago, but last week she was finally convicted of assault, and yesterday she was sentenced to 6 months behind bars. What the prosecutors argued here was Woods was not just interfering with the proceeding, she was using her hives as weapons. At one point, she was told people nearby were allergic, to which she allegedly replied, good. On the body cam footage, you can see why it took so long to get her cuffed. She was wearing her bee suit while officers were getting stung and running away. Perhaps the most damage was done to the bees themselves. As a result of the chaos and destroyed hives, police reported that thousands of bees died here. But it's also a reminder of how many different forms risk can take. Weapons come in many shapes and sizes. Some of them come with wings, and the results can be appalling.
ABC's Brad Milkey on the Start Here podcast there. A grand opening today for the newest express bus route in the Salt Lake Valley. The Mid-Valley Express is a 7-mile bus rapid transit route that will connect routes across Murray, Taylorsville, and West Valley City. The hope is that the new route will cut down on travel times for people trying to go east to west across the valley. Carlton Christensen is the chair of the Board of Trustees for UTA. He tells KSL-TV that the express bus line will also help with air pollution.
You know, a bus will hold comfortably 40, sometimes as much as 70 individuals, and it only takes 4 individuals in a bus to alleviate the kind of air pollution one single car could generate. With that many people, it not only reduces congestion, it offers a more cost-effective way to get around, and I think at the end of the day, the communities will be stronger. These are 10 electric buses, so they're emission-free. It will be a great asset to the Salt Lake Valley.
The all-electric bus route will be free for riders through April 2029. If you're taking the bus and transferring to another UTA line, you will still need to pay, however.
After that 3-year period, we anticipate it would just be part of our normal fare system, which currently is $2.50 one way or $5 maximum for the day. But we have a lot of pass holders, and for them it will be part of their pass.
This is the third dedicated bus rapid transit route in the system, following the success of the Utah Valley Express and the Ogden Express. Christensen says UTA will continue to look at other ways to improve mass transit options along the Wasatch Front. And Jeff Kaplan's here in studio, ready to take over. How's it going?
It's going. I spent a long time listening to the King of England.
As did we all. All right, I'm Heather Peterson signing off, and Maria Shilaos will be back tomorrow.
Pip, pip, and cheerio.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Good afternoon, 3 o'clock, KSL News Radio. I'm Jeff Kaplan, 56 in Salt Lake City. KSL's top story, felony voter fraud charges have been filed against one of those guys with a clipboard gathering signatures against Prop 4. The man